And a very good morning to my online students as well. So how was the weekend? Hectic? Revising things? Too much on the plate? Manageable? Wonderful. So do we have off tomorrow? He declared it off already. Innocent kid. All right. So I was not very sure. So one of you wrote me a mail. And I thought if possible, why to take off? But then I got to know that tomorrow has to be an off. So tomorrow, we don't have any class tomorrow. How happy is he? Must have made some emotional plans. That is why. Okay, fine. Metro bhi ban. Oh. Acha. So which means that in the morning it won't be possible to come anyway. Then though it's a forced off. Right? Acha, आपको पता है, the thing is that suppose if at all one has to take off in subjects like economics or mathematics when you are doing these kind of subjects, so the off should either be taken on the first day of the week or the last day. In between one should not take off in this. So that is why I was thinking that if possible we can have a class. Why? Because continuity needs to be maintained in these subjects. But it's okay. We'll manage it in such a way today that the place where we stop, it won't affect the point where we start day after tomorrow. ऐसे कर लेंगे. So yes, we'll do the question today. SS, we will do the MCQs, and there we will see your question. And okay, done. And one of your friend is saying that we will watch the current affairs videos that you have posted tomorrow. Okay, fine, wonderful. Chalo, so this is the plan for today, guys. I am sure that you must have had a good look at this. आप देख रहे होगे, this is not a very thick, it's very thin material. That's not too much, manageable. So we are going to do exchange rate today. Let me give you good news related to exchange rate. This is one topic which guaranteed give questions every year. Because India is a developing country, we need to trade. When we trade, rupee into dollar, dollar into rupee. Oh, you haven't? Okay, PB. I will check from the office because last time I checked, they told that they already dispatched the material. I'll check it again. So when we trade, we convert dollar to rupee, rupee to dollar, etc. Which means that India definitely gives a lot of importance to exchange rate system and exchange rate market. For a developing country, it becomes even more important. So in that context, okay, I will definitely check with the office SM that why the material has not yet reached you guys. So I'll track it after the class. After the class. Now, so let's start with the exchange rate. Acha dekho, thanks. So this is the topic which I have designed like this. I know you're going to laugh at it, but theek hai, still. This is the definition of exchange rate. We will start the topic like this only. I'll give you proper dictations. But this is how we are going to learn the concept. You know what challenge I faced when I was designing this lecture for you? See, if one wants... No. In depository receipts, the foreigners would invest. That is the purpose of depository receipt. To give the equity some way indirectly to the foreigners, not Indians. All right. So the challenge that I was facing in this topic was, while designing the lecture for you, that this topic requires so many technicalities to be understood, not difficult ones, normal ones only, but the number of definitions, technicalities are so much that if you don't see these pictures on the board, you will get confused after every 10 minutes that who is exchanging what with whom. That is the challenge here. This is, I think, the best way to understand, which means that today, even if you are, for example, even if you are emotionally and psychologically 100% not present in the class, but your eyes should be stuck at the board. Because visually, if you are there in the class, problem would be solved. Which means that even if you are a little lazy, let's say 90% focus, manageable, 80% focus, manageable, but visually you have to be 100%. You have to be glued onto the screen because I'm going to do things like this essay. I'm going to use these things, which will help you to understand that, okay, dollar is moving there, this, that, and all. So see, let me give you a flavor of what we are going to do. So these are the tables which you will have to draw in the class. And then we'll have this, and then something like this. This is the exchange rate system which the world is following. If you understand this, you'll understand all the technicalities. So this is how we are going to do. And this is how I explain depreciation, appreciation, all these things to you. So I won't make it difficult, we'll make it easy for you. But then visually, as I told you, you have to be present in the class. Can't take your eyes off the board even for a second when we start. अच्छा देखो, so this is how we keep on studying it. और थोड़ा आगे आएंगे, we'll come ahead. This is the diagram where we will reach after good 1.5 hour. And if you understand this, I have already uploaded it on the portal. You'll get it. So if you understand this, you will see that in last 10 years, UPSC has asked 8 questions from this diagram. And if at all they have to create a question in future, 1 question from this diagram, guaranteed, because this captures entire depreciation, appreciation, revaluation, evaluation, everything related to exchange rate is hidden here. One who cracks this can crack any question in UPSC. It's not difficult. So that is the place where we'll reach after some time. Oscar, I'll teach you this, that who is big, who is strong. And then let me show you. This one is a stunning question which UPSC gave. Absolutely amazing question which UPSC gave, because they directly picked it from optional. Right? So people don't do it in GS purposes. For GS, you never touch this part. It is not possible to do it for GS, but now UPSC has made it possible. So we had to find a way to crack it. So what I did is, these are the formulas that UPSC expects you to know. Without this formula, you cannot solve this question. Impossible. But then there is nothing which is impossible. So we will crack this question using this diagram. So I'll make you taste the burger today from USA. So if you understand this diagram, I assure you that this is the diagram which will help you to crack that. Set of 4 formulas can be easily cracked using this, but it will slightly become technical. देखो यहाँ पे आते आते it will become little bit technical. See, slowly it becomes technical. This is formula actually, the same formula. This formula you can express like this. So you can crack this formula open like this. This cannot be avoided. It is not possible to solve. I am not, trying to scare you, but since UPSC asked a question and repeatedly they are asking question like that, you have to understand it. Without this, you cannot answer the question. Anyone who is trying to teach you that without this formula is trying to fool you, because without this formula, you can't answer that question. See, this is where UPSC tests you. So these are some technical things, but aap dekho, this is slide number 23, which means we would not reach here today. We will reach here only after doing rigorous theoretical exercise. Once we are trained in all the basics, then I will take you here. Rear and near. That is the last part. Not today. Let's see when we reach there. Maybe next lecture or maybe today, who knows? Depends on you. So, and this would be the last part. This would be the last thing to conclude the exchange rate for now. So there I'll help you to understand as which burger is better. Whether you should buy the burger in India or USA. That would be the last point of exchange rate. That is the whole idea of exchange rate. Where should you buy your goods and services? Right? So that should be the last part. Let's start, which means a lot of pictures are going to be shown to you. Ab dekhiye. Please write this as the title for today, exchange rate. Let me show you something from where UPSC asked this year's question. This is the table. Oh, dekho, table number is 11.1 from economic survey. From here, that export import percentage wala question which was asked in UPSC prelims, it was from this table of economic survey. I deliberately took this just to show to you that they don't ask you random data from anywhere. They ask you data either from budget or survey. It's a 100% guaranteed fact. And if they are asking you data, that what is the export level of India, import level of India, as a percentage of world trade, what is the contribution of India, it's all from here. A nicely compiled table is given every year in economic survey and budget. From there, UPSC asks questions. So these are the kind of things which I'll provide you abhi nahi, later on. Abhi let's first understand the basics. Chalo, come here and please write, define, likhe, please write. It will be slightly different topic, huh? Please write, define exchange rate. Exchange rate. Same question, what is exchange rate market? Define exchange rate. What is an exchange rate market? Define exchange rate. What is an exchange rate market? Now, so guys, as usual, I'll tell you the definition. As usual, the design of the lecture is such that you will start to get the deeper understanding only after maybe 1.5 hours or 1 hour. Initially, you'll feel a little lost. but manage. After 1.5 hours, you will get the control. देखिए, what is the meaning of exchange rate? Let me explain to you. Don't write anything. I'll give you proper definitions and diagrams. Here देखिए. Now keep looking at it. Just be careful. This is an Indian producer. See, this producer is trying to sell a pen. What is the price of the pen in India? 80 rupees. Keep your eyes here. Huh? So this is a seller from India. He's trying to sell the pen for 80 rupees, and there is a buyer in USA who wants to buy the pen. Why are we trying to sell the pen? Because this pen has been manufactured by MSME of India under Make in India program. So of course we would like to promote them. And that is what the government is doing. So we are trying to sell this pen to USA. Price of the pen in India 80 rupees. That guy in USA, he does not have rupee because rupee has not become international currency. So how can a person in USA have rupee? He says rupee is not international, I have only dollars. Fine. Now, this US guy, he calls the Indian seller and says, hey, Mr. Indian seller, how many dollars do I need to pay you to buy this pen whose price is 80 rupees? So this Indian seller says, I don't know. Let's go to international currency market and let's try to find out. What is the international currency market? Where do you go? So there are 2-3 kind of institutions where you can go and find out. So this US guy will go to a money changer, and money changers are those agents who get license from the central bank like Reserve Bank of India or US Fed to exchange one currency into another based on the demand and supply of the currency. I'll give you an example. So suppose guys, you want to buy tomatoes these days. You'll go in the market to somebody who is trying to sell tomatoes. Now, you will tell that person that I need to buy 1 kg tomatoes. The person will charge you 500 rupees. They will say 500 rupees. You will say it's too much because you will tell them that these days the supply of tomato has increased from Nepal, which means the price is not 500. You will say that the price is 50 rupees. Then that tomato seller will tell you, no, the tomatoes have started from Nepal. It has reached certain sections of India, certain geography of India, but it has not reached the southern part of the country. It has just crossed border. It is in UP. It has not reached Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, still 500. But then you start to bargain, and you are in, let's say, Karnataka. You start to bargain with them, the vegetable sellers in Karnataka, that no, since the Nepali tomato has entered India, I am not ready to pay 500. I know that the tomatoes have reached, so I will pay only 100 rupees. Bargain happens. So the forces of demand and supply in the market, they decide that what the people are ready to pay and what the sellers are ready to accept. Yes, tomato prices have been normalized. So which means that if you go out in the open market and suppose the government is not interfering at all, there is no RBI in the market, there is no Prime Minister of India in the market, no parliament is there in the market, just buyer and seller are talking with each other. In that case, whatever comes to be the final price of tomatoes is called as the normal price, normal market price. But basically what happens is, this guy from USA goes to a money changer. Money changer, I told you, these are those agents or institutions who have got license from the central bank to convert one currency into another. Of course, they will charge you a little bit of commission, say 1% commission, 0.5% commission, something like that. You can also go to a commercial bank like HDFC Bank, SBI Bank. You deposit one currency, as you deposit one currency, you will get another currency in return. They will also charge you commissions. So what happens? This US guy goes in the market because he has to make the payment. He goes in the market and tries to find out from this commercial bank, HDFC Bank. He calls up HDFC in India. So HDFC or money changer. And he calls them and asks them that, hey, see, I have to make a payment of 80 rupees to India. How many dollars do I need to pay for that? So these institutions tell them that based on the forces of demand and supply in the market, the price is 80 rupees is equal to $1. Now, what this guy does is, what this guy will do is, he will pass on $1 to the Indian. This pen will reach here. Now see what happens. So if you go to this commercial bank, if you go to this commercial bank, see, pen has reached here, dollar has reached to this person. Now, this pen seller in India, SMB will say, commercial bank is HDFC. For today's lecture, HDFC, right? So when I teach banking, I'll give you the proper definition. So now see, this dollar is with this pen seller. Pen seller doesn't know what to do with this. So pen seller goes to this commercial bank, matlab HDFC, and then HDFC gives him Indian currency. right? So this is how the exchange happens. At every place where exchange happens, commission is involved. So this bank, HDFC Bank, will take some commission from him. Now see what happens. So that's HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank says, what will I do with this dollar? Because people come to me and take loan, home loan in rupee, and too much of dollar with me, I don't know what to do. What does HDFC do? Come to RBI. RBI takes the dollar and RBI releases rupee. This is how the exchange of dollar and rupee happens in the economy. So see how it all started. Look carefully. It started from a dollar here. The dollar reached the pen seller. The pen seller took the dollar to HDFC. HDFC took the dollar to RBI. And finally, when RBI gets the dollar, RBI says, this is mine because I bought it. Now see, RBI has bought it by paying rupee. This dollar RBI keeps very close to heart in its pocket, called as foreign exchange reserves, right? For now, this is the dollar. RBI keeps here and says, that's mine. If the country badly needs dollars, I'll provide it. Why? Because RBI is the banker of the government. Just like when we need cash, we go to HDFC. Similarly, when Government of India needs cash, Government of India goes to RBI. Right? Abhi dekhenge, SP, hold on for some time. So let me complete the story only. Like one of your friend is asking, sir, does RBI earn commission? But don't deviate. This is a bigger picture. First, learn the basics. Commission and everything is secondary. In fact, that's not even important. Your focus should not go to commission. You're going in the wrong direction. So RBI gets dollars and RBI keeps it in the pocket. And RBI says, look at the bigger picture. Think like a policymaker, not like a broker. So what is happening here? So RBI keeps the currency in the pocket. Then RBI says that if the country needs this, I'm going to give it to India so that we can buy oil, we can buy medicine. Think like this. Now, this entire thing is happening. Most of the major things here is happening at this point. Yahi pe ho raha hai. The real deal is here. Why? This is the place where the exchange rate of rupee and dollar is decided. Government does not interfere, RBI does not interfere. Nobody is interfering here. I have kept them separate. Because if we constantly interfere there, then the foreigners would lose trust on the system. They would say this country is not good. Because every time we go to the market, the boss of the country comes and interferes. Right? So they are saying, let's not interfere. RBI says, let's not interfere, let them work. Right? What do parents do? Till the time parents feel that we can survive, they don't interfere. But when they feel things are going absolutely wrong, then only they will come. If they feel, that's true about parents, that parents let us live our life and parents let us become strong. But if parents feel that you are not well, or maybe you are too much burdened with studies, then parents would come and say that, hey, our child is not doing well, we should take care of the child. But normally the parents will let you live. They will let you attend the lectures you want. They will let you read the newspapers you want. So RBI says, let me not interfere too much. Let them function nicely. So what has happened? We have exported pen. This seller has given us dollar. Dollar reaches this bank. Dollar reaches here. Now this dollar is not available in the market. RBI has absorbed this dollar. See, gayab. It's gone. Dollar is gone. Now, this $1 is equal to 80 rupees is called as exchange rate between currency. Ab dhyan se rakhna, I'm going to make two statements. Absorb it. Statement number one. Exchange rate is the value of one currency in terms of another. That's the first definition of exchange rate. Second definition of exchange rate is exchange rate is the external value of our currency in the global market. So exchange rate is the external value. External value means in India, we might think that 80 rupees is solid, 80 rupees is too much. That's not the external value. That's the internal value of India, that yeah, 80 rupees is equal to 1 pen. But if you take 80 rupees in the global market, there if they value the rupee and they look at the 80 rupee and say 80 rupees is too much, then we will say that yes, our currency is valued a lot in the international market. So exchange rate can also be expressed in terms of literature by saying that it's the external value of a currency in the global market. So two definitions of exchange rate. Please write. Exchange rate is the value of one currency in terms of another. Exchange rate is the value of one currency in terms of another. Exchange rate is the value of one currency in terms of another. Please put a full stop. In other words, exchange rate is the external value. Exchange rate is the external value of a currency in the global market. Global market. Change the paragraph, please. Exchange rate market, ERM, exchange rate market is a mechanism or arrangement where currencies are exchanged. Currencies are exchanged with the help of, currencies are exchanged with the help of banks or currency dealers. Currency dealers. This would have stop. Now, please give a small title. Global exchange rate systems. Global exchange rate systems. Global exchange rate systems. Global exchange rate systems. Now guys, you please draw this. This flowchart is important. So I'll tell you a method of learning these kind of technical subjects. You keep writing this, note it down please. There is a method of learning these subjects like economics, like mathematics or physics. The method, in fact, polity for that matter. Polity, law, these are all technical papers. The method of learning these subjects is that whenever you open a new topic, in the first half an hour to 1 hour, when you are reading a book or you are looking at literature, etc., you should look at the bigger picture, the macro picture. Okay, how are the bigger things operating? Once you look at the bigger picture, then you should start taking each of the terms and do dissection like the doctors do. Go in the detail, do the open surgery of all these terms and then get into the bottom and say, okay, this is the absolute basic level at which this concept operates. But first, one should always look at the bigger picture. This gives you a holistic understanding about what you are going to study. SJ, we will when the right time comes, not now. You will have to give me that liberty of deciding when to bring that point. Because when the right time comes, I'll bring it. Not randomly, but yes, point noted. So see this, please. Because that is related to almost the end of balance. What you are asking will be taught to you after 6 lectures. Almost the end of balance of payments. None. So see, this is global exchange rate system. It can be divided. You do this. Global exchange rate system. It can be divided into 3 phases. See, 3 phases. First phase is gold exchange system. Second phase is Bretton Woods exchange system. And third is IMF, International Monetary Fund. Three different phases of exchange rate system in the world. देखो UPSC will ask you in mains, because in mains they are asking these type of questions these days, that discuss the exchange rate system and how it has evolved in the world, like the GDP question they asked, etc. So they might ask you this question where you will have to write, yes, evergreen question, RD, absolutely. These are the questions. Yes, PK, correct, that they ask. But in the current affairs, you would not have seen the first part, because that was not required there. So in the current affairs, I only explained that part which was required for internationalization of rupee. This part you would not have seen there. But in UPSC mains GS3, you will have to write that part also. Done, guys? Wonderful. Done? Okay. Now see. So I'll tell you a normal story. It will become very easy for you. Focus on the bigger picture first, as I told you. Uske baad we'll go into the details, don't worry. So you see, we are going to do how the exchange rate system has evolved across the world. It has evolved in 3 phases. The first is, see, 1870 to 1944. This is the phase where the world wars happened, right? So 1870 to 1944, very disturbed kind of phase. Now, once this phase was over, which means the world war was over, the Second World War got over, then they decided that let us change things. And they started this system called Bretton Woods exchange rate system. After the end of Second World War, this system got developed. यहाँ पे देखोगे ना, if you look carefully, 1870 to 1944, roughly around 75 years there, roughly around 75 years ऐसे लेके चलता है. Now this one would be roughly around how many years? Roughly around 35 years there. So if you look at the first system, it lasted for around 70 to 80 years. This one also lasted for about 30-40 years. This one is continuing. So 3 phases. One, the phase of the wars, world wars. When the world war got over, this system. But this system could not last. Why? Because there were some inherent points which made this system unstable. This was not to be sustained. There were problems here. Because this system was not very foresighted. Then came this system. The beauty of this system is, IMF system is, every time there is a problem in the exchange rate, they modify the existing system and they come up with something new. Which means there is a scope of modifying and bringing something new out of here. But यहाँ पे there was no scope because this was rigid. So whenever you are rigid in life, you feel that, I'm the best. You become a thing of the past. So they thought they are very, very robust system, but they became very rigid. They said, no, we are the best. Our system is the best. Gone. So this one, they also started after the Second World War by thinking that whatever I am saying is the best. Gone. This system said that we will evolve with time. We are not the best. Survived. Right. So that's the message behind all this. Now let's see how they became rigid. So that's rigid, very stubborn. That's also very rigid. So let me tell you why they became rigid and how they perished over time. Now see, let's come here. The first is called as the gold exchange rate system. Now, iske upar I'll give you dictation, but first let me explain. How do I explain this essay? Now see. So guys, imagine that you have to buy this pen from me. I am an Indian. Now you are from USA. So under this system called Classic Gold Standard, see, this is gold exchange system. It has 2 parts. One is Classic Gold Standard. Classic means it's pure form, raw form. Suppose you have to buy this pen from me. I am from India and you are from US. How would you make the payment? You have 2 options to make the payment. Either take a bag full of gold and give it to me and you take the pen. Done. Which means the international trade was carried on with gold as a medium of payment. But you very well understand that it's not possible to carry gold all the time, because you will have to carry gold in the ship containers and then export gold to other countries to make payment. Very costly, because transferring gold from one continent to another involved cost. So if you have to make payment of this pen using this much gold, you will have to add extra gold. Why? Because transportation would also take time and some charges are involved. So carrying gold became very difficult. So they said, okay, let's do one thing now. See how the payment evolved. And you will realize that not a good system. So suppose you want to buy this pen from me. You take this pen, you give me this currency of your country. Suppose this is dollar and you gave it and you are from US. So I took your dollar, you took my pen. The understanding between India and US would be that India is having dollars In future, whenever India calls USA and says, USA, you gave me your currency, I don't need this. Convert this currency into gold. USA was under compulsion to convert it into gold. That is the meaning of classic gold standard. Under classic gold standard, there were two systems. Try to understand. Two systems. One, whenever somebody had to make payment, the payment had to be compulsorily either in gold, like this, see, gold. You have to give gold as medium of payment, or if you are giving currency to somebody and that somebody comes back to you after 20 years also and says, take your currency back, give me gold, you need to have that much gold that you need to return it, right? Which means that the whole parameter and standard of payment was not currency, it was gold. Please write. Please give a title, gold exchange system. लिखिए gold exchange system. Gold exchange system. Please write under it, two kinds of systems of exchange rate, two kinds of system of exchange rates were followed. Number one, classic gold standard. Classic gold standard. In the bracket, please write 1870 to 1914. 1870 to 1914. Please write. Under this system, the international payments during trade, the international payments during trade were made in gold, or any other currency which could be easily converted into gold. So under it, the international payments during the trade were made in gold or any other currency which could be easily converted into gold. Yes, headache like bond. Yes, please put a full stop. In fact, the countries undertaking trade used to maintain their accounts in gold. Please put a full stop. Let me tell you what is the meaning of this. So guys, suppose that India is buying, let's say, one fighter plane from Russia. So we will write in our account, the government of India will write in their account that one fighter plane, for example, 100 crores, rupees 100 crores. So today we are writing like that. But during classic gold standard, India used to write one fighter plane is equal to 35 containers of gold. This is how we used to maintain the account. The entire world used to maintain the account in terms of gold. But gold was God. And that is the problem. That is rigidity. Huh? Now, let's look at the second part, how it evolved. नहीं पहले इसका let's write the problem. Change the paragraph and write the problem. That under classic gold standard, there was rigidity in the system. Of exchange rate because the entire system revolved around gold. There was rigidity in the system because the entire exchange rate system revolved around gold. In other words, the countries had to maintain huge amount of gold. Please put a full stop. So guys, what did we learn? That if India wanted to buy a fighter plane from Russia, they would not take the payment in currency. They would say, either give me gold, right? So if we are buying fighter planes from Russia, we will either pay gold, ऐसे करके box will be there full of gold. We'll say, okay, take gold. Or if India is giving currency to Russia, then tomorrow Russia will come to India, because this was the agreement that tomorrow Russia will come to India and say, India, take back your currency, give me gold, which means you have to give gold. Whether they take the gold today or they take the gold in future, guaranteed they will come and take gold, because gold was the only medium of exchange which was acceptable across the world. This was headache. Why? All the countries were supposed to maintain gold, and you know that the amount of gold available at a point of time is limited. This system could not last long. So then what happened? Two things happened here. Now see, since the amount of gold in the world was fixed, you cannot generate gold every day. So now the system changed in the world, and now the world started to say, like India complained. India at that time complained and told everyone, what are you saying? We don't have gold. And whatever gold we had, the Britishers are taking it anyway. So India said, Dekho, I'm taking a basket and I'm going to put little bit of gold in the basket, little bit of dollars, and then little bit of another currency, which is the British currency called as pound sterling. So little bit gold, little bit dollar, and little bit pound sterling we are going to keep in this basket. Then India showed this to the world that, hey, see, we have a basket where we are putting gold, because gold is acceptable to everyone. We are also putting dollar and pound sterling, because these are the only two currencies in 1800 and 1900 which were acceptable to rest of the world, because these two countries were having great military strength and big economic power. So their currency from that time onwards only became globally acceptable. So we put these three things: gold, dollar, pound sterling. And then we told the world that, world, now India is ready to make you payments either in a combination of gold, dollar, and pound sterling, or we will give you rupee. And whenever you want to convert this rupee, we will not give you gold. We will give you little bit of gold, little bit of dollar, little bit of pound sterling. Why did we do that? Because we said nobody has absolute amount of gold all the time, because the amount of gold is limited in the world. So if everybody comes to India and says, give gold if you want to buy pen, Abhi, how do we give gold all the time? So we say, sometimes we will give you gold, sometimes we will give you dollar, sometimes we will give you pound sterling, or we will give you a combination of this. So instead of gold becoming the most important thing, in this phase between 1914 to 1944, the World War phase, so World War phase, so this gold standard regime, what happened is, instead of gold becoming the most important medium of exchange, gold, pound sterling, and dollar combined, they became the most important medium of exchange. So see what happened. Suppose India bought medicine from USA. So what did India do? Ye rupee. So India made a payment in rupee. Now, after 6 months, USA will call India and say, India, I have your rupee, which is useless for me. Take back your rupee, give me this. And at that time, they accepted it in rupee, because rupee was easier to exchange. It was India's currency. India said, Abhi le lo, just take it. But I promise you in writing that whenever you bring back rupee, I will give you this. This is how the international trade started to happen between 1914 to 1944. So instead of gold, a combination of gold, dollar, and pound sterling became important. Please write. Doesn't it look complicated? What are they trying to do? Please write. Gold standard regime. Please write. Number 2. Gold standard regime. Gold standard regime. 1914 to 1944. 1914, 1914 to 1944. Please write that since the amount of gold available, with the countries was limited, a new system called GSR, Gold Standard Regime. Since the amount of gold available with the countries was limited, a new system called GSR got developed, whereby all the countries of the world who wanted to participate in trade, all the countries of the world who wanted to participate in trade had to keep a reserve, comprising of gold, pound sterling, pound is the currency of UK, gold, pound sterling, and dollars. On the basis of this reserve, currencies were printed and exchanged. Currencies were printed and exchanged. Please put a full stop. Acha dekho, I have to do one thing with you guys, and you will have to be a little patient in this, because many of you, when I started the lecture, many of you wrote me a mail, and a very honest mail, that we are going to study economics for the first time, and many of you wrote that we have already studied economics. So I got 2-3 types of mails from you guys, which means that the lecture has to be designed in such a way that we go from here to here, so that everybody gets covered. And at the end of the lecture, what is our aim? Our aim is, if you started from here, absolute basic, or you are starting here, all of you reach the same plane, because the level has to be absolute same at the end of the 4 months. This is the plan. So sometimes I'll go little into basics as well, and sometimes when the basics are done and I look at your face and I feel, okay, basics done, then I'll take you a notch up. Like I showed you that I'll take you to formulas also. But pehle, let me give you a summary, like 1 minute summary of this, for those of you who are doing it for the first time and maybe you have not understood anything at all. It is possible, and nothing to be shameful or embarrassed, because you are learning. Simple. So I'll give you a quick recap of what is happening. Bahut dhyan se sune. Yes, a very quick recap. See, there is something which is called as global exchange rate system. Global exchange rate system means, if India is going with rupee in the international market, if we give rupee, how many dollars we will get. This is global exchange rate system. But the system that we see today, give rupee, take dollar, was not as smooth in the past that it is today. In the past, how was the system? The system was called as gold exchange system. Therefore, I'll give you a simple story, try to understand. What is the meaning of gold exchange system? Gold exchange system had 2 different systems inside it. The first system was called as classic gold standard. What is classic gold standard? Very simple. Dhyan se sunna. You want to buy this pen, right? I have the pen, I'm USA. You want to buy this pen. I will give you pen, you give me gold. Done. This is classic gold system. So under classic gold system, 99.9999% trade that happened used to happen in terms of gold. I will give you pen, you give me gold. But it might be possible, ho sakta hai, that I give you pen, but you do not have gold in your hand at that time. It might be possible. So instead of giving me gold, what will you do? You will give me any paper currency of your choice, and you will say that, you please keep it, sir. You give your pen, and in future, when you return this paper to me, I will give you a truck full of gold. This used to be the system. Right. Now, if the country was very big, that country used to be very strong, so that country used to have a lot of gold. So that country could trade more, which means in this phase, some countries were trading more because they had more gold. Their economy was bigger. By default, somebody has natural resource called gold. Okay, then you become rich. But if those countries who do not have a lot of gold, they were not getting the advantage of this system. And they were complaining. They were saying, what are you doing here? So for example, if I give this much of gold, I say, if I give this much of gold, I get 1 pen. I am USA. But when India wanted to buy the pen, USA used to say, India, you are a weak economy, give me more gold, blackmail. So there was no standard. There was no standard there, which means those countries which were very big, they used to give less gold and they used to say, I will give you this much gold and give me pen. Bad. Why? Because who will decide how much gold is equal to one pen? Who will decide? No idea. There is no authority. So this system was not good because there was no standard which was maintained. वैसे तो it was called gold standard, but there was no standard, right? Because I told you, remember, when I taught you the secondary market, I told you stock exchange is called standard market because there is something called as SEBI inside it. SEBI keeps the standard intact. यहाँ पे who is keeping the standard intact? Nobody. There is nobody who is trying to maintain. Same problem here. So what is this gold standard regime? Under gold standard regime, ध्यान से सुनिए, under gold standard regime, I am USA, you want to buy this pen from me. So how will you make the payment? You will take little bit of gold. ये देखिए, since gold is limited in quantity, you will take little bit of gold, little bit of pound sterling and little bit of dollars. So you will mix it and and US will decide that one pen is equal to how much of this mixing. I will decide it, USA, hegemony. That's the problem. So if I'm a bigger country, because I have big military, I have more gold, I will dictate to the world that what will be the value of this pen. That's bad. And the hegemony shows there that who will decide what is the value of one pen in terms of gold? USA and UK. How can this system last for long? Because this was a rigid system. The rigidity came because only two countries were controlling everything here, US and UK. How can two countries decide that one pen is equal to how much gold? This was the problem in this system. So this system could not last long because other countries started to voice their opinion that, what are you doing? How can US decide that what is the value of this pen in gold, right? That's not fair. So this system also did not last long. Now please give a title. Bretton Woods. Yeah. I'll tell you, I got a question. So see, what used to happen at that time is they used to take a box like this. Example, USA used to put gold, whatever gold it had. So for example, half of the box with gold. There was no fixed amount or proportion. So whatever gold they had, they used to keep it. Box means composition, not a dimensional thing. Like I'm Reserve Bank of India or Central Bank of USA. I'll keep aside some gold. Then I print dollars, so it's my currency because military-wise, trade-wise, I'm a very strong country. So I will print this paper currency, I'll keep it here. Then I will borrow some currency from my friend who is equally strong in terms of military and trade, UK. And then I'll put it here. And now I will tell the world that just like gold is internationally acceptable, dollar is also internationally acceptable because of military and GDP. Only two reasons. Similarly, the British currency is internationally acceptable, and I tell the world that world, you will have to accept three things: gold, pound sterling, and dollar. I am keeping it inside the box. On the basis of this box, now USA started to say that I will print more dollars. Now USA started to tell the world that this box gives the power to my currency. So you please accept my currency. And then USA made a promise to the world that if you take my currency, in future, when you return my currency, I will give you something from this box if you want. Because for every currency that USA was printing, USA was saying, I have this asset behind me. This asset was giving power. This is a flawed concept. Why? The concept is flawed. I'll tell you why. And that is why the system did not last. We don't need to put our head over it. Why? Because you keep gold here and then you are keeping dollar here. And on the basis of dollar, you are printing dollar. What kind of economic logic is this? So that is why this system did not last. So I am taking a box. Look at me. I'm taking a box and I'm telling everybody I'm US, military-wise strong, trade-wise strong. In this box, I'm putting dollar. Then I'm telling the world, accept my dollar because I'm strong. Then I tell the world that on the basis of this dollar, I will print dollar. What kind of logic is this? On the basis of dollar, you print dollar and then you tell everybody this dollar is very, very precious because there is dollar behind it. Wow, great economic logic. So that is why this system broke down. Please write. Yeah, very simple. Just made life simple. But this made life simple for the big countries who had gold. This made life miserable for the countries who did not have gold. Since I have not taught you balance of payment yet, I'm not using it because you will understand it, but many of the students won't. So when we reach balance of payment, I can bring you back here and show it in 1 second. And what is this? So, we are asking something. क्या चीज? I gave you 2 reasons. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं सोचना है, अभी इतना ही सोचो. So one, if you are strong military wise, पूरा world war you are controlling. So even if you don't, accept this system by USA just needs to drop 2 bombs and make it acceptable. I didn't want to use this analogy, but yahi hai. This is what the world is. You have to accept it. So it was not economics. It was global hegemony which was being practiced. How can you put your own currency in the box and tell the world, accept it because I'm the most powerful military wise? So military decides economics. Abhi kya bolu main? What do I say? That was being done. There is no logic. If there was logic behind it, and if the system was so logical and so scientific, it would have been practiced even today. The very fact that it was not very logical and there was no economic rationale behind it, it could not last long. Otherwise, it would have survived. And we would have been discussing this today that, hey, what a great system. And you are absolutely correct, because balance of payment crisis happens whenever the exchange rate is not in your favor. But yahan pe to there is no question of exchange rate. Why? It was fixed. So no volatility. System was very stable. There was no balance of payment crisis here. But the problem is that 90% of the world did not have gold. So they are the ones who are only the recipients. So the bigger countries used to sell goods and they used to tell them, whatever little gold you have, India, send it to me. So these countries, the developing country, the global south became the market, the global north became the sellers. That happened. So please write. Sorry? Not barter system, but see, barter system would mean that you exchange pen for this phone. This is barter system, direct exchange of goods. But here what happened is, in between these two, there was gold. So if you have to exchange pen and phone, gold will be used as a medium. So in fact, gold acted as a currency. All right. Likhiye please. Bretton Woods exchange rate system. Bretton Woods exchange rate system. Can you bring it down? Because, hold on. Because this part I have already completed. So let me see if you have any questions from this part. So then I'll answer. But I hope that you would have got your answer. How was it decided? So SP, I hope you got the answer, that it was completely illogical. SM, good. Then can only trade in currency to avoid gold and gold. Yes, absolutely correct. Siksha, good point. So can you bring it down, please? Just like bonds, there is an asset backing. Correct. SM, absolutely correct. ऐसे लगता है, it looks as if this currency is being backed by something. But this something idea is very illogical. Why? Because I am USA, I am saying to everyone, keep my currency in your pocket, and based on that, I will print dollars. Unbelievable. So this is bad. All right, fine. Now see, I've got something for you. यहाँ पे देखिए. Something more illogical. Welcome to the real world. Because this is not my favorite, of course. See this. Look at this story now and enjoy the superpowers' dominance over the global economy. अबे ध्यान से सुनना. This is beautiful. This is beautiful what happened here, and this is ugly also. Now the beauty is that after the Second World War got over, look at these countries. All these countries, they belong to Western world. So for example, USA, UK and European countries, they all met after the end of Second World War. They all met here around 1944 in a place called as Bretton Woods in USA. USA, there is a place called as Bretton Woods and there they met in this hotel. That is why it is called Bretton Woods Conference. Now this conference lasted for 22 days. In these 22 days, look at the beautiful thing. The beautiful thing is, these countries said, they admitted that, we have destroyed, we have destroyed the world. So look at this admission, we have destroyed the world. Then they said, now the next part, since we have destroyed the world, it is our responsibility to reconstruct it again. So acting like a big brother. So they are saying their whole idea was this only. So they met in this conference and they said, we have destroyed the world. Our exchange rate system was not very good. It was flawed. So it is our responsibility to reconstruct the world. So somebody asked them here, how will we reconstruct the world? Because we have also been impacted. We have also lost lives. We have lost properties. So then these countries started to say that what we will do is we will create some common global institutions. We will become its members and that institution will reconstruct the world. This is the birth of World Bank. The World Bank started with IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. This institution, World Bank, I'll tell you about this later, but just giving you a flavor that these countries met in the conference and they said, I'm keeping it simple for you today. These countries met in the conference and said, we have destroyed the world. Our exchange rate system was also flawed. World War was not good. We are the leaders, we destroyed. So we will reconstruct the world. How to reconstruct the world? So they said, we will create a big bank, big institution, and we are all going to contribute money in this institution. This institution will rebuild the world. The name of this institution is IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Later on, it became World Bank. So the birth of World Bank starts from here. The second thing that they said, so this was okay. I have a problem with the second one. The second thing they said is, look at this. The second thing they said is that let us try to find out which country has the maximum gold in its reserves. And it was found out that 70 to 80% of the world's gold was with USA. In 1944, USA had 70 to 80% of the world's gold. Second question was asked here that which country has the strongest military in 1944, not before that, in 1944. So strongest surviving military. Answer came USA. Then they asked which country is the biggest in terms of economy, means production, sale, etc., etc. Whatever little bit was produced. So answer came USA. Look at USA now. USA is conducting this conference and USA asked 3 questions and USA very well knew that the answer of all these 3 questions will be USA. So USA asked in this conference that who has the maximum gold? Everybody said you. USA said, yeah, 70-80% of the world gold is with me. Number 2, which country has the highest, biggest, strongest surviving military in 1944? USA. Which country had the biggest economy in terms of GDP at that time? More gold, bigger GDP at that time? USA. So USA said, hence, I propose this idea that my currency will be the global currency. Right? Now look at the law. Easily in my current affairs also you would have seen that I have defined international currency in that sense. That a country with biggest military, biggest GDP, yahan se, it came from here and we still follow that definition. Unbelievable. So see what happened. Look at this. Now look what USA said. For the first time, USA gave a definition in quantitative terms that how much gold is equal to how much dollar. This system was defined by USA. So USA said that if you keep 1 ounce gold, aise dekh lo, suppose that this is a box full of gold. Its weight is 1 ounce. 1 ounce is approximately 28 grams, 28.5 grams. So approximately, let's say 28 gram gold. So USA said 28 gram gold will be equal to $3. Now USA started to say that since I have huge amount of gold, for every 28 gram gold, I will print $3. And then USA said that you, all the countries of the world, you can print your own currency based on how much your GDP is compared to my GDP. So USA declared its GDP. USA said my GDP is this. So if your GDP is 1/10 of USA GDP, your currency value will be 1/10 of dollar. So in that sense, USA told to India that India, your GDP is very small, like this in front of me. So see, 28 gram gold is equal to $3. And then USA told us, India, based on your GDP size, trade, export, import, everything, national income. So $3 will be equal to $1, yahan le lete, $1 is equal to 4.75 rupees, which means what they did for us is it's roughly around 165 rupee. So what they did with us is that they decided, USA decided that this much gold will be equal to this much dollar. Then they told us that this much dollar will be equal to how much rupee. And they gave us this system at that time that $1 will be equal to roughly around 5 rupees, 4.75 rupee. So they said, if you give 5 rupees, this much, you will get this much dollar. So Indian economy, they said, you are very small compared to me. That is why $1 is equal to 5 rupee. Similarly, if Japan has to declare its own currency yen, Japanese yen, USA told Japan that Japan, you are also not a very big country because I just dropped a bomb over you. So you are weaker. So my dollar, $1 will be this much of Japanese currency will be required to buy $1. So again, they tried to prove Japan also very small in front of them. And they started to prove every other currency that you are small. Why? Because I have bigger military, I have bigger trade, I have more gold. This was the system. And behind the back, what did USA do? USA started to buy more gold from other countries. USA started to tell them, you have gold, I will give you this, I will give you this bomb, I'll give you this military power, just give me gold. And USA started to collect more gold from the world. A time came when 90% of the gold went to USA. So on one hand, USA was conducting this conference, and the moment this conference got over, USA started to gather more gold from rest of the world to keep this power intact. When somebody asked USA in this conference, what are you trying to do? USA said, I'm trying to create a new exchange rate system so that on the basis of gold, dollar can be printed, and on the basis of dollar, other currencies will be printed. But the dollar became the international benchmark. So if you want to print currency in India, you have to look at this dollar of USA, and then based on your GDP, you have to print currency. So USA will decide how much currency will be printed across the world. This is Bretton Woods system. Somebody asked USA that, isn't this system too rigid because you are becoming the boss of the world? Based on dollar, everybody else will print currency. USA said, yeah, I will do this because I have a strong military, I have strong trade. Then somebody said, what if there is a problem in the world related to exchange rate? What if there is problem in dollar, problem in gold? Gold, suppose, is wiped out from the face of the earth. Or if Indian rupee faces any problem, who will solve all these problems? If there is any problem across the world, you won't go to other country and say, I will solve your problem. Who will solve the problem? So USA said at this time, it made a proposal. It said, let us create a new system called as IMF, International Monetary Fund. This is the birth of IMF. So 3 things happened in Bretton Woods conference. Number 1, they decided that they will create something called IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Later on, it became World Bank. Why did they create this IBRD and World Bank? Because they wanted to reconstruct the destroyed world. Well, they will construct roads, hospital, bridges, etc., etc. That was the idea. Number 2, they gave a new exchange rate system where they said that gold will decide dollar, because USA had all the gold. So it was so convenient to say that based on gold, dollar will be issued. Since my military is the best, my GDP is the best, so dollar will decide other currencies. And if there is any problem in this system, IMF will help you to sort out the problem. And who will rule IMF? USA. USA said, I will control IMF. IMF will help you to manage your currency. So it is written everywhere. You can clearly see. यहाँ पे ध्यान से देखिए. You can clearly see in this entire phase, USA, USA, USA. You can clearly see that. So one country controlling the entire exchange rate system. Of course, there will be problem. And when there is too much of I am the best, I am this, I am that, one day this I will create a problem. What problem did USA face? मैं दिखाता हूँ आपको. The problem that happened to USA is, ध्यान से सुनना, and you will laugh at USA that how can they use the economic logic like this? They were bound to suffer. One day what happened is, USA became too arrogant. Why? Because USA had all the gold. It started to print so much of dollars. Up, see what USA did. Once you have a lot of dollars in your hand, what will you do? You will call China and say, China, I need these leather items from you, textile items from India. And USA started to call all the countries of the world, and USA used to say, I have dollars, I will buy your goods and services. No problem. But how long will you do that? One day your dollar will be over. So whatever dollar USA had printed, that dollar was spent. Suppose China got this dollar. China sold, let's say, textile items to USA, and China got the dollars. What did China do? Now China locked this dollars in its pocket. China said, my central bank will not release this dollar. So what happened? USA needed more dollars in future because it had to buy more. It was in the habit of buying things. USA used to import a lot from rest of the world. So USA needed more dollars. But to print more dollar, you need more gold. No problem, you have gold, print dollars. One day, whatever gold was there, based on the amount of gold that you have, the currency that you print was already printed. So based on a particular stock of gold, you can print only a limited amount of currency. This was done. Now USA needed more dollars. But the amount of gold was fixed. What will USA do now? So now, this was the year 1971. In 1971, USA called all the countries of the world and said, I don't like this Bretton Woods system, because under Bretton Woods system, I have to keep gold and print dollar, but my gold is over. I need more dollars. And countries like China have kept my dollars in their pocket. They are not releasing it. I badly need to print dollars. I don't know how to do that. So I'm withdrawing my name from Bretton Woods system. And from today, I declare that on the basis of gold, my dollar will be printed, but on the basis of my dollars, nobody else should print the currency, which means I'm withdrawing from this part. This is gone, this is gone, which means now USA said, India, you decide how to print your currency. China, you decide how to print your currency. Just don't link your currency with mine. I'm not interested. Because if you print your currency based on dollars, then you will capture my dollar in your pocket and you will keep printing your currency. I don't want that. So USA withdrew from the system and said, I don't want all this. Which means, what is the system that USA was proposing now? USA was telling that countries of the world, what you need to do is, USA will keep gold and print dollar. India, you also keep gold and you print your rupee. And if you want dollar, come in the international market, exchange dollar for rupee, rupee for dollar. So after 1971, this system came whereby USA said that I will keep my gold and print my dollar. You please don't link your rupee with my dollar. Keep it separate. So USA said, I will do this. I will keep gold and print dollar. India, you also keep your own gold. Just don't interfere with me. And you print your own rupee. Similarly, China, you keep your gold and print renminbi. Similarly, Japan, you keep your gold and you print your yen. And then USA said, India, if you need dollars, come in the international exchange market. What is international exchange market? Money changers, banks, and ask them if they have dollar, you please exchange it. Just don't call me for that. Which means separate yourself from my currency. This system developed in 1971 under IMF. And why was there a need for all this? Because I told you that one day, the amount of currency that USA could print based on gold was already done. Gold was limited, dollar was limited. There was no more gold, no more dollars, but USA needed dollars. So USA crashed this system and said, let this system go away. This system developed. Are you getting a sense of this? Please write. Please write. What happened is, since so this was 1971, okay? This was 1971. So since it was the fresh collapse of Bretton Woods, so at that time, USA said, please don't look at my dollar. So at that time, countries were not putting dollars in their exchange reserves. Countries were saying, USA is not interested, why should we do? So they were keeping gold. But then USA normalized. And then I will teach you here, no, this part. I'll teach you slowly that how dollar came back. And then people started to keep gold and dollar combined again. But in 71, for a brief moment of time, people lost faith in dollar. Please write Bretton Woods system. Please write that after the Second World War, and guys, when you are writing this, please pay attention to what you are writing. This has never been asked in UPSC. I believe it will be asked. So please write. After the Second World War, US, UK, and European countries US, UK, and European countries met for a conference called as Bretton Woods Conference. Met for a conference called as Bretton Woods Conference. Please put a full stop. 3 important decisions were taken in the conference. 3 important decisions were taken in the conference. Three important decisions were taken in the conference. Number 1, it was decided to set up global institution to reconstruct the destroyed world. To reconstruct the destroyed world. This institution was called as International Bank for Reconstruction. International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. This institution was called as International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Right. In the bracket IBRD. IBRD. Later on, World Bank Group, WBG, was developed as an extension of IBRD. As an extension of IBRD. Number 2, a new exchange rate system was decided. A new exchange rate system was decided whereby dollars could be printed on the basis of dollars could be printed on the basis of a fixed amount of gold, on the basis of a fixed amount of gold. Please put a full stop. Other currencies could be printed. Other currencies could be printed on the basis of the dollars already printed by USA. Already printed by USA. Please write, change the paragraph and write, in other words, so guys, write like this. In other words, 1 ounce gold is equal to, you have to write this, 1 ounce gold is equal to $35. 1 ounce gold is equal to $35. is equal to 167 rupees. 167 rupees. Please put a full stop and write. Similarly, other countries also linked their currency. Similarly, other countries also linked their currency with dollar. Similarly, other countries linked their currency with dollar. Please put a full stop. All right. But this system had a problem. अच्छा बताइए, what was the problem? Rigidity? That gold dollar, rigidity, huh? So please write that over time, USA printed the dollars based on the amount of gold available with it. Over time, USA printed dollars based on the amount of gold available with it, but USA required more dollars especially to import more. But it was unable to print dollars. Because it had already exhausted its entire gold, right? Just put a full stop. This led to the collapse of Bretton Woods. Exchange rate system. This led to the collapse of Bretton Woods exchange rate system. Please put a full stop. By the way, one of your online friend is asking that, sir, since USA was deciding everything, why did USA not print more currency even if it did not have gold? Why? Same reason that in a company or in a country, why do you need to have elections? Sometimes you know the result. Process has to be followed, right? Even if you know the result, sometimes you know that you are the most powerful, but there are 150 more countries who are looking at you. You just can't do it without having a system. Even if the system is flawed, but you need to have a system. Even if you pretend that there is a system, but there has to be a system. But there will come a point of time when your flawed system will eat up your own economy. And that started to happen in USA. USA said, I have gold, I'll print dollar. And the world, you accept my dollar. But one day the gold of USA got over. It had to, because gold is not unlimited. Then USA realized up to there is a problem. So USA said, don't look at me and don't capture my dollars. So especially China. China has a very bad habit. Whenever USA prints dollar, China will get the dollars and keep it into the pocket, and it will not release the dollars. And it leads to problem in USA. We will see. Slowly we will see. So USA said, please do not print your currency on the basis of my dollars. By the end of the time, most of the... No, Bukesh, it's not... Dekho, you're not understanding. One of your online friend is saying something. Dhyan se sunna please and help your friend. Your online friend is saying that, sir, but if USA wanted, USA could have got all the gold, practically all the gold. All the gold doesn't mean 100% gold of the world. It could mean 90% gold of the, no problem. So this is the 90% gold of the world with USA. On the basis of this, using this formula, 1 ounce is equal to $35. You can issue limited amount of dollar only with gold. Suppose you have issued the dollar. You need more dollars after this. Then what? That led to the collapse of this system, because then what ka answer was not there with USA. So USA said, now I don't want this system, please remove it. So what system replaced it? Ye dekhiye. Please write in the same paragraph, let's conclude that paragraph that after, most welcome Mukesh, please write, after the collapse of Bretton Woods, IMF gave a framework for multiple exchange rate systems. IMF gave a framework for multiple exchange rate systems that the world could follow. Right? So now please write number one. Not number one. We haven't given that title, no, IMF exchange rate. हाँ वो लिखिए. Please give a nice title because this is the third phase we are going to write. IMF exchange rate system. Did I dictate the IMF part? So please write the third decision. Two decisions already I told you, no. First decision was related to IBRD. Thanks for reminding. Second decision was related to exchange rate system under Bretton Woods. Three decisions, no. So first decision was IBRD. The second decision was this exchange rate system, which we have just concluded. Now let's write the third decision. So please write. The Bretton Woods Conference, BWC, short form likhiye please, right? BWC, Bretton Woods Conference, also decided to establish International Monetary Fund, IMF, to help any country in case they face an issue, related to exchange rate. In case they face an issue related to exchange rate. Is it fine? Wonderful. And thank you. See, I'm so proud of you for this fact that we missed out on the third point. This shows that you are very focused in the class, and this is required. This is expected from leaders. Thank you. Now please write IMF. Third is, so we are going to write this system of exchange rate. Please write IMF exchange rate system. IMF exchange rate system. One of your friends has asked a question. Please help her to get the answer. I'm repeating her question, okay? I'm sure you guys will be able to help her. So your friend is saying there that, sir, can we say that in Bretton Woods Conference, dollar officially became the international currency? Yes or no? Absolutely yes. She's absolutely right. Because देखो, if this is not international currency, then what is international currency? So deliberately, yes. So deliberately, I kept on telling you that USA had the biggest military. USA became the boss of the conference. See, this conference, USA became the chair. USA was the chairperson. Whatever USA felt, USA was dictating it in the Bretton Woods Conference. USA said, my military, the best. Second, USA said, my GDP, the best. Amount of gold, I have the maximum. And these are the three criteria USA gave and said, my dollar will be the international currency. Unbelievable, right? So this is too much of I. So absolutely correct. Now, by the way, did you learn something? That even if suppose you had not watched my video, current affairs video on internationalization of currency, suppose you did not watch it. For some reason, I did not create the video, you did not watch it. Yet, suppose you are learning Bretton Woods Conference like this. As your friend concluded, would you have concluded the same thing in your mind subconsciously? That yeah, sort of international currency flavor is coming to dollars. Dekho, many times in life what will happen is you will not be told explicitly that okay, this is this. When you become an IS officer or a leader, the government will not come you and explicitly tell you things. At that time you need to derive the messages that okay, this is happening in the economy and the society, so I need to take some conclusion that okay, it is behaving like an international currency. And if you get a sense like this, then you will understand that if India also wants to become international currency, you don't have to copy USA, but you will have to stand up to similar parameters. Only then you can claim that rupee will become international, which means with economics, you need military and defense also. Otherwise, nobody will listen to you. That's a sad reality, right? Whether we like it or not, it's not that we are giving this theory. We are not telling the world that have weapons, destroy the other countries. But we are saying if this is the system that the world is following, might is right. If you have a weapon, if you have a missile in hand, the world will listen to you and say, yeah, dollar is the best. Abhi kya kare? Then you need to have some, defense which is so strong that you can tell the world, I have strong defense, I have strong economy, accept rupee as international currency. Why you can? अभी देखेंगे यूके, वो भी आएगा. But abhi it was US, because USA, I told you, one of the biggest reason was 80% of the gold was with USA, and USA said something must be kept at the back to issue currency. Since USA said I have 80% gold, nobody else has it, so how can your currency become the global? Even if military of UK was almost equal to USA, USA said I have gold. If not gold, you tell me what else do you want? USA was asking this to the world. So gold was acceptable to everyone. So USA used that criteria and said military wise great, GDP wise great. And I deliberately used the word surviving military. That is what USA was doing at that time. I have the biggest surviving military. Baki military to gone. So USA is surviving military and gold. So it deliberately used the criteria which helped it to become the global power. तो मैंने तो आपको बता दिया 80% गोल्ड. जब बता रहा हूं आपको दैट गोल्ड वाज द बेसिस, तो अब यूके के पास कहां से आएगा? इफ आई हैव 80% गोल्ड, हाउ विल यूके गेट द गोल्ड? है ना? सो उस तरह से देखो. नाउ प्लीज कम टू IMF एंड प्लीज राइट नंबर 1, फिक्स्ड एक्सचेंज रेट और हार्ड पेग्ड एक्सचेंज रेट. फिक्स्ड एक्सचेंज रेट और हार्ड पेग्ड एक्सचेंज रेट, और ब्रैकेट में लिखे 1971 to 1990, 1971 to 1990 फिक्स्ड एक्सचेंज रेट और हार्ड पेग्ड एक्सचेंज रेट, 1971 to 1990. देखो कभी क्या होता है ना, इन द वर्ल्ड व्हाट हैपेंस इज two things. This is something which already happened in the world. We are not trying to create a theory. We are studying what actually happened, and we are studying things exactly the way they happened. When do we create theories? If somebody will ask us that how to internationalize rupee, usme we can create a theory. But if USA already created its currency as international currency by saying that this gold will be the most important metal in the world, if everybody accepts it in 1944, how can I change? How can you change? Today you can propose and say titanium will be the most important one. फिर titanium will become important. So we can talk about future and we can make changes there. But what happened there, we have to study it exactly like the way it happened. And the reason USA was saying gold was because from the days of mercantilism, gold used to be the most important. If you read history, you will realize that entire world was obsessed with gold. They used to say this is the metal of future. Anybody has gold, matlab you are the superpower. Mercantilism theory. So from there onwards, gold gained prominence. Up to things are changing. So they are saying that data is the new gold, right? So if you have data, so data protection will, that you are the most powerful. So we'll see. Artificial intelligence, according to me, technology is the new gold, not even data, technology. चलो इसको करते हैं, fixed exchange rate. Don't write anything, guys. I'll give you proper dictations, as I promised. Let's study it like this. ऐसे पढ़ते हैं इसको. Absolutely, Siksha, you are correct. That is why India will find it very, very difficult. देखिए, this is slightly unorthodox way of studying exchange rate, but I assure you that you will not lose out on any technicality. Just that we are going to study it in a slightly different manner to make it more simple. See. What is fixed exchange rate system? बहुत ध्यान से देखिए. Enjoy the story. So let me complete the entire thing. Then you let me know if you understood it or not. So under fixed exchange rate system, what happens is the central bank of the country. I'm teaching you everything from India's perspective. So what would RBI do here? RBI will come and RBI will say that based on our GDP, based on the income that India has, RBI says, I'm going to fix $1 at 100 rupees. right? This is what RBI said. So RBI says, according to me, $1 will be 100 rupees. RBI won't stop there. Then RBI will say that one British pound, British sterling pound, matlab British currency will be equal to 80 rupees. Then RBI will say 1 euro will be 90 rupees. So we will not just fix the value of rupee with the dollar here. We will fix the value of rupee with every other currency in the world. So see, we are not obsessed with dollars. This is fixed exchange rate. Under fixed exchange rate system, the Reserve Bank of the country will come and they will say, for example, that this is my 100 rupees. This 100 rupees will be equal to this much dollar, this much yen, this much renminbi, Chinese currency. So we fix the value of our rupee with every other currency in the world. And if this value changes in the world for any other reason, this value will change, then Reserve Bank of India has to come and defend it. Because Reserve Bank of India has made a promise that $1 will always be equal to 100 rupees. This is called fixed exchange rate system. Since Reserve Bank has fixed it, now it is the duty of Reserve Bank of India that if any event happens in the world whereby this equation is disturbed, $1 is not equal to 100 rupees, suppose. I'll teach you when that happens. So suppose $1 is not equal to 100 rupees, equal to 90 rupees. Then RBI has to come, do something in the economy to get this equation back. Ab dekho kaise? What can happen in the world? See. Now, look at this. It will be easy for you to understand because you have studied foreign investment. See guys, so $1 is equal to 100 rupees. Always adopt this circle approach to understand this topic. It will become very easy. So for example, see $1 is equal to 100 rupee. Why have I drawn the dollar circle smaller, rupee circle bigger? Matlab, if you get this much dollar and if you sell it, you will get this much rupee. That is the value. $1, this much of rupee. So $1 is equal to 100 rupee. That is the exchange rate which RBI has kept. Now suppose for some reason what happens is that the interest rate in USA increases and the difference between USA and India becomes too big. So in India the interest rate is 2%, USA it becomes 8% because USA Bank, Central Bank of USA can increase the interest rate. So what will happen? The moment interest rate in USA increases, dollars from India goes to USA. Right? Dollars will move away, move out. So what will happen? You see the dollar circle becomes smaller, which means that if the supply of something is down because the dollar has gone, rate of interest in USA is higher. So dollar gone out of India. So supply of dollar is less in India. When supply is less, what happens to the value? High value. Uska ek example, I'll give you an example. So what happens? Suppose you keep, I've given you this example earlier. You keep meeting your best friend every day for next 365 days. Pura ek saal tak, you keep meeting your best friend. After the class, you go to the best friend and say, I have come to meet you. So one day, if you keep meeting your best friend every day, your best friend will tell you, "Fir aa gaya, you have come again," which means you will lose your value. But if you meet your best friend only once a year in the month of March, don't meet them in February, your value will come down. Meet them in the month of March, your value will be intact and they will feel how busy you are, right? So if you keep meeting, if you supply yourself excessively to everyone that, hey, I have come, nobody will respect you. But if you go occasionally to people, people will respect you. So what happens here? The dollar is gone from India. Why? The rate of interest in USA is high, dollar gone. When dollar is gone, the value of dollar increases and the value of rupee comes down. So what happens? Earlier, if you gave 100 rupees, you would get $1. But now dollar has become more precious. So now you will have to give 150 rupees for $1. Why? Because there is no dollar. Dollar has gone. So now you will have to give 150 rupees. So what is the new exchange rate now? New exchange rate is $1 is equal to 150 rupees. Why did that happen? It didn't happen because rupee became bad. It happened because dollar went away. So dollar circle became smaller, rupee is bigger, which means the value of rupee is less, the value of dollar is strong. Which means now to get $1, you have to give 150 rupees. But I told you under fixed exchange rate system, RBI cannot tolerate this. Why? Because RBI has made a promise. What did RBI promise us? RBI promised us that they will always maintain $1 is equal to 100 rupee. But this promise has been breached. The moment this promise is breached, RBI has to jump in the market and see what RBI will do. So guys, what was the reason for dollar becoming strong and rupee becoming weaker? Why did it happen? Because dollar went away from India. So now what will RBI do? Remember the story which I told you initially. Ye wali story, let me show you this. Remember this story. In this story, This is the dollar which RBI was hiding. Remember, in our Penwala story, RBI was hiding the dollar. This is the dollar which RBI will release in the market now. And in place of that, RBI will get rupee. So RBI will call the banks and say, hey banks, I'm going to give you dollar. You please give me rupee. The moment dollar reaches the banks, see what happens? See, this is that dollar which has reached. So dollar reaches the market, and again the dollar circle will become bigger. This will be restored. So dollar circle will become bigger, which means the value of rupee will also be intact. And we will go back from here to here. Because why did this dollar circle become small? It became smaller because dollar from India, see, dollar from India, this dollar, this went to USA. Why did it go to USA? Because rate of interest in USA increased. So what is RBI doing? Now RBI is releasing dollar from its own pocket so that this circle should increase in size. And when it increases in size, again, equation of $1 is equal to rupees 100 restored. But this system is called as fixed exchange rate system. It existed in India between 1971 to 1990. SM, I am not deliberately using the word repo, reverse repo, because I will use those terms. I have taught you already, but I'll use those terms when I teach you banking and monetary policy. Abhi to we'll just focus on exchange rate in a simple way. I can complicate this framework, but not today. Yeah, theek hai? Is it fine? Are you understanding what happened or lost? Manageable? Thank you. Please write. Please write. Under this system, the central bank fixes the exchange rate between rupee. The central bank fixes the exchange rate between rupee as well as other currencies. Other currencies. For example, suppose RBI fixes $1 is equal to 100 rupees. Suppose RBI fixes $1 is equal to 100 rupees. Now, whatever happens in the economy, continue writing, guys. Now, whatever happens in the economy, RBI will have to defend. Yes, SM, absolutely necessary. Now, whatever happens in the economy, RBI will have to defend this exchange rate. This exchange rate, right? For example, now whatever happens, RBI will have to defend this exchange rate. For example, suppose, PK, please focus on this one, you will understand. Here, dekhiye guys, why am I making you write the example? I'll tell you. I know you are smart, and with your intelligence, you would have understood this in 1 minute only, I know it. But in UPSC, you will have to write examples. And there, if you don't use this kind of language and example, you will not get good marks. Because on the basis of what knowledge you have in mind, UPSC will not give you marks. UPSC will give you marks on the basis of what you have written in the paper, based on what you know, what you write. So that writing will give you marks in the exam. So that is why we have to write these examples. अब देखो क्या है, how will you frame the exam? Don't write, just give me like 30 seconds to just recapture everything. आप ऐसे बोलोगे in the exam that absolutely Shubham, correct. Your friend Shubham is saying that, sir, I believe China is following the same exchange rate today. Absolutely correct. ये देखिए, guys, focus. $1 is equal to 100 rupees. This has been fixed by RBI. That is what we are going to write, that RBI has fixed it. But suppose what happens is that in USA, suppose the rate of interest rises. We very well know that when rate of interest would rise, what would happen? ऐसे करके, let me give you a diagram. So suppose that this is dollar and this is rupee. When rate of interest rises in USA, this dollar will go away to USA and the circle of dollar will become smaller like this, which means now $1 is equal to rupees 150. Why? Because earlier when we were giving, let's say 100 rupees, we were getting $1, but now there is no dollar available, which is dollar has become precious. So now you will have to give more rupee, see 100 and more rupee to get that $1. So RBI does not like it. RBI says this is a breach of my promise, because RBI never said that $1 will be 150. RBI always said that $1 will be equal to 100. This is by RBI. So RBI said this is breach of my promise. Now I have to restore it. How does RBI restore? This dollar that went away, RBI cannot bring it back immediately, but RBI keeps dollars in the pocket, forex reserves. So RBI will release some dollars and increase the size of this. See, again dollar, dollar, dollar. So when you increase the supply of something, again its value comes down. So now $1 will not be 150, it will be 100. Why? Because now dollar size has become bigger. But this is what you have to write. Please write. Did we write something there? Suppose, please write. Suppose RBI has fixed $1 is equal to rupees 100. $1 is equal to rupees 100, but the US central bank increases the interest rate. But US central bank increases the interest rate due to which US central bank increases the interest rate due to which the dollar outflow happens from India. Due to which the dollar outflow happens from India. This would increase the value of dollar in India and reduce the value of rupee. Now RBI will have to defend it. By releasing dollars in the economy. Which will bring back the exchange rate. To $1 is equal to 100 rupees. Number 2, please write. This was the first one. So guys, number 2, please write market-based exchange rate or floating exchange rate. Market-based exchange rate or floating exchange rate. Market-based exchange rate or floating exchange rate. Yes, absolutely. Yes, correct. Yeah. How we will see this towards the end, because when we start to analyze something, if we directly jump in the general equilibrium framework, we won't reach anywhere. So what we are doing is we are following a partial equilibrium framework where we are trying to see the impact of one variable over another. Then we will bring the second variable, its impact on that, third variable impact on that, then 100 variables impact on that. But if we start with 100 variables, where we will land? That's the thing. So we have to restrict our emotions and we have to see how one variable impacts another. So here we are just talking about the availability of dollars. then very slowly you will see, as your friend was suggesting online, that we can bring repo rate, reverse repo rate, policy by one country, policy by neighboring country, but you can't start the analysis with that. But yes, we will reach there. With due course of time, we will reach there. So see, वैसे तो even I would like that. I wish there would be a mechanism to transfer that entire general equilibrium framework to you in 1 second. I wish it was available, but है नहीं वैसा. It will take time, but I promise you I'll take you there. यहाँ पे, when we reach there, I have something in mind. This is the place. Here I'll take you there. ये है वो place. This is the place that you are talking about. This is exactly the place, because ये देखिए, shows how expensive our goods are compared to foreign goods, which means this dollar, rupee, dollar, ultimately this is not decided only by availability of dollar and rupee. It is also decided by how costly our items are, what is the level of GDP, what is the political stability in the country. Those things will decide the exchange rate between rupee and dollar. But to reach there, it will take at least 2 more lectures. But पहुंचेंगे वहां पे, don't worry. आराम से जाएंगे, no rush. Right? But we will reach strongly. Now, I'm teaching you this market-based or floating-based exchange rate system. ध्यान से देखिए. See, what is happening here is, let me take the example of tomatoes. So ऐसे सोच के देखो. Think about it, guys. The example which I gave you, that currently tomatoes are coming from Nepal, but initially tomatoes were not coming from Nepal. So if you go in the market and try to bargain with the tomato seller and tell them that, hey, tomato seller, I have 100 rupees. Will you give me a kg of tomatoes? They will say no. 1 month back, no. Why? Because they would say tomatoes are not available. Supply is not there. Everybody wants tomatoes. So in 100 rupees, you will not get tomatoes. They will ask for 200 rupees. ऐसे हुआ था, 200, 300. That was the price of tomatoes. But now what has happened is Nepal is supplying tomatoes to us. So if you go to the tomato seller and tell them I have 100 rupees, will you give tomatoes? They will say yes. And I can assure you that in next 2 months, even if you give 20 rupees, you will get tomatoes. Right? So it will happen. So who is deciding the price of tomatoes? That 1 kg tomato is equal to how many rupees? Market forces of demand and supply. So whenever RBI is not interfering directly here, market, absolutely, market. So whenever the exchange rate between one currency and another currency is decided based on only the demand and supply of the currency in the global market, only on the basis of demand and supply. If everybody in the world says, I need dollars, then dollar will become very precious. And to get $1, India would have to give 500 rupees. But if everybody is ulta karte hai, let's do the opposite. Everybody in the world says that we need rupee. All of a sudden, everybody says, rupee is the best in the world, we need rupee. So to get this rupee, USA would have to send us 1 truck full of dollars. So it depends on the market conditions of demand and supply, who is powerful. Those who are demanded more and their supply is less, they become powerful. Right? So what is market exchange rate system? Under market-based exchange rate system, the market means this money changer, banks, etc., because they get to know what is the demand and supply. So the exchange between dollar and rupee is decided based on who is demanding what and who is supplying what. Please write. Based on the market forces, just like tomatoes, based on the market forces of AC is a problem. Temperature change. I am feeling the problem too. Since long, and I was thinking that you guys are comfortable, so I was not speaking. ऐसा है क्या? Is this like? And I was thinking that when you say AC temperature can be unbelievable. So coordination failure. So I have increased the temperature. Sorry, we were adjusting the temperature. So and since morning, I was feeling that since you guys are comfortable with the temperature, unbelievable. I was feeling that the kids are happy with this temperature. Okay, I'll also manage. And I was feeling cold today. I was having this bad throat. I thought, okay, if you guys are fine, I'm also fine. So both were thinking the same thing, huh? How sweet you kids. All right, fine. So your online friends are smiling. They are saying we don't have that problem. So, क्या लिखा था? Can you please tell me? based on market forces of demand and supply. Based on market forces of demand and supply, the value of one currency can be determined, the value of one currency can be determined in terms of another, in terms of another. This system is called as market based exchange rate system or floating exchange rate system. Floating exchange rate system. Rohit, आप मुझे please remind me before we wind up the lecture. I will bring this question and answer it so that all your friends also take the benefit of your question. But you just copy paste this question towards the end. It will be a good, nice discussion. Please put a full stop, guys. Now, please add a third one. लिखिए. अब देखो, what did India do? Just hold on. Let me tell you what India did. देखो, India is a very unique country. You would have understood by now. ध्यान से देखिए, what did India do? First, the Reserve Bank of India said, यहाँ पे देखिए, between 1971, when the Bretton Woods system collapsed, India also said that, okay, USA, since the system has collapsed, I will adopt something new. What did India do now? India said in 1971 to 1990 that I will adopt a fixed exchange rate system whereby India said 100 rupees will be equal to $1, 90 rupees will be equal to 1 pound sterling, 75 rupees will be equal to 1 Japanese currency. So we did not fix only rupee to dollar. We fixed rupee to dollar, rupee to British currency, rupee to Japanese currency, because USA had told us, do not be obsessed with my dollar. India said, no problem. I will fix rupee with everything. That is called fixed exchange rate system. And we followed this till 1990. Now, the second system is called as market-based exchange rate system. आपको पता है, there is something which you should try to understand, and then you will understand why India never followed complete market-based system. देखो, when you are very young, almost like 3 years old, 4 years old, what do parents do? Parents first hold our hand and they will tell us when we are infants. Parents help us to, walk. Parents help us to run, etc., etc. Till you are 4 or 5 year old, parents will hold hand. That is called as fixed exchange rate system, because central bank is holding the hands of the economy, saying $100 is equal to 100 rupees equal to $1, fixed exchange rate. RBI was holding the hand of the economy. Then RBI started to say that if we keep the economy too loose and if we let everybody behave the way they want, it might lead to problems, because we are not a very mature country, because we just got our independence. Our economic system was destroyed by the British. It takes time to rebuild the system. So RBI said, perhaps we might not be that much ready at that time. When we become that mature in future, I will let loose everything. Not now. So somebody told RBI that, RBI, come on, this is 1990. Loosen up a bit. And please adopt market-based exchange system. You don't interfere. Let the people decide what is the value of $1 and rupee. RBI said, no, I will not do that. Yes, it's laissez, absolutely PK, correct. So RBI said, no, I will not do this, because if I let market decide, what if somebody comes and manipulates the market? How will I know if market is being manipulated? I don't have those mechanisms developed with me currently. Information is the problem, etc. You see what happened in the class. We guys, if you would have noticed, since the time we started the lectures, now we are discussing so many things inside class, through emails. I get a lot of mails from you guys. Outside the class also, we have so many discussions, many a times other than academics also. So we are basically comfortable. But still, when the AC temperature was too low today, there was lack of coordination. You kept thinking that maybe sir is liking the low temperature of 19 degrees. I kept thinking that you guys are liking the 19. Both were suffering together. Right. So what is this called as? This is called as lack of information or information asymmetry. There was no common mechanism through which I could know what you are feeling or you could know what I was feeling. So that common mechanism or institution was missing, which could convey to us that, okay, what the other party is feeling. Yeah, this was missing. Same thing RBI is saying here. So RBI says, how will I know if somebody is creating artificial demand of dollars in India? How will I know if somebody is creating unnecessary supply of dollars in India? How will I know these things? Because we have just got independence. We are not that strong economy. We need time to develop those things. So RBI said, sorry, boss, I can't leave everything to the market. My kid needs protection. Economy needs protection. So what did we do? We never adopted the market system. What did we do? In 1992, we adopted something called as dual exchange rate or liberalized exchange rate management system, LERMS. Please write. लिखिए third, dual exchange rate system, also called as dual exchange rate system, also called as liberalized exchange rate management system, liberalized exchange rate management system, LERMS, liberalized exchange rate management system, in the bracket 1992. Dekho, let me explain this system. So guys, are you learning something? That since you are preparing for UPSC, trying to be the future policy maker of India, are you noticing the approach that we are following? Are we criticizing anybody here saying that bad choice, why not market exchange? Come on, the reality of economy was different. How can you criticize RBI saying that first RBI followed this fixed exchange rate system because economy was weak? Understood. Then why didn't RBI go for market based? RBI should have adopted what the world was doing. Why RBI wants to interfere? These things should not be said. It should not be understood like this. Why? Because the economic reality was different. And I gave you an example of the class today that sometimes information asymmetry. You are thinking something, I am thinking something, and there is no flow of information between us in a proper manner. That's the problem. So that problem was there in the economy. So RBI was saying that we are not ready, we need time. Okay, give them time. See what they did. In 1992, this beautiful thing was done. People criticize it, but I find it to be very good. So see, suppose $100 are coming in India. यहाँ पे देखिए, $100 are coming in India. Now RBI said that if $100 are coming in this country, why can't we do one thing? Out of this $100, let $40 come to RBI. Let $60 go to banks and money changers. So split whatever is coming in India in two parts, 40:60 ratio. The moment this $40 directly goes to RBI, RBI said, I will decide that $1 is equal to how much rupee. So suppose RBI says, according to me, $1 is equal to 80 rupees. So RBI said, I will decide that $1 is equal to 80 rupees here. So I will convert $40 into rupee here using this exchange rate, which is fixed exchange rate by RBI. Then RBI said that this $60 which is coming in India, so total 100 was coming, 40 to RBI. This $60 RBI said, you please take it to money exchanger or bank. Whosoever wants to go, please go with $60 and ask this money changer that based on the forces of demand and supply, please tell me that how much market is ready to put for $1 in terms of rupee. So suppose market says $1 is equal to rupees 100. According to market, this is the condition. So now this $60 will be converted into rupee based on this exchange rate, whatever is the market saying. But $40 will be converted into rupee based on what RBI is saying. So we were following a composite index. What were we doing? We were following fixed exchange rate system for 40% of the dollars coming to India. For the remaining 60%, we were following the market-based exchange rate system. Hence, it was called dual exchange rate system. And look at this. Look at the intention of RBI. Yahi se you look at the intention. Its name is liberalized exchange rate management system, which means earlier the RBI was very rigid, fixed exchange rate. Now they are incorporating fixed plus floating, which means they are becoming liberal. And you understand, I haven't taught you balance of payment crisis, so I'm not using it currently. We will use it in future after 3 lectures. There is a dedicated lecture on BOP crisis where I teach you Asian financial crisis as well, currency crisis, all those things. So abhi usko, let's not use it. So what is happening here? Initially RBI was very rigid. This was fixed exchange rate. Then this is market. So somebody told, IMF told India that, India, why are you so rigid? So India said, okay, let me adopt the combination. let me become little liberal. 60% liberal, 40% rigid. This is liberalized exchange rate. But आपको पता है एक बात, you are smart kids, you understand, if somebody becomes 60% liberal, there is a very high chance they will become 99% liberal also. And they did. And what did RBI do? So this was 1992, lumps. This experiment turned out to be well. And everybody loved it. They said, wow, this is good. This was accepted in the economy. And then RBI started to follow something called managed or dirty float from 1993, which means in this picture, you will not see RBI. The fourth exchange rate that we are following, there is no RBI here, which means RBI said, now my economy is strong 1993. And RBI said, I will stay at a distance and watch you, economy. I will not come every day. But if something wrong goes in the economy, sometimes I will come and correct you. So chaliye, let us write and then I'll explain what is this. Did I give you the dictation on lumps? No? Please write. That it was started in 1992. Yes, PB, I'll explain it, but after 3 lectures. Please write. It started in 1992, whereby 40% foreign currency, 40% foreign currency was to be converted into 40% foreign currency was to be converted into rupee using fixed exchange rate by RBI, whereas the remaining 60% would be converted using market-based exchange rate. Please put a full stop. This was the beginning of liberalization of exchange rate system in India. Please put a full stop, yeah. Simple. So for example, let's say that you are the exporter and you got the payment in dollars. So let's say that you got $100. You could get any dollar, doesn't matter. So RBI would say that, do you want to convert it into rupee or you want to keep it? So of course you would want to convert it. What will you get by keeping it? So then you will ask the RBI that, where should I go to convert it? RBI will say that, take 40% out and bring it to me directly. Right? So you can go to RBI counters, you can directly convert 40% into rupee. The remaining 60% RBI said, go in the market, talk to dealers, talk to banks, etc. See what rate they are offering you. I will not interfere there. This is how they did it. Compulsion. Because that was slow liberalization. RBI said, if I loosen up the economy randomly and at one go, then I don't know what will be the impact on the economy. So RBI said that I'll give you a liberty of 60%. Remaining 40% I'll control, but that control went away very fast in 1993. RBI said, now you control, you take care of your entire dollars. So please write this, I'll explain, don't worry. Did you give this title? Managed float? No. Please write fourth one. Managed or dirty float. Managed or dirty float, 1993. Achha, there is one question from your online friend also. Let me take it. Managed or dirty float, 1993. Okay, so I'm reading the question. The question says, sir, recently RBI announced that repo rate would remain constant. Absolutely. It also said that inflation is likely to come down. Yes. What does that mean if repo rate is? Abhi to I have not taught you inflation. Tha ruk jaiye. If you give me time, you would have seen your the content I have provided to you. So I have reserved almost like 3 lectures for inflation, and I have reserved 6-7 lectures on monetary policy. So in those 9 lectures, you will get the clarity. I can give you the answer right away, but many of our friends who have just started won't understand. So I want all of you to go together. So I will give you the answer. Don't worry about it. Pakka, I'll give you the answer. Now, but to give you the answer right away, if you are understanding, I can give you the answer. So it says, does that mean that reverse repo rate is high, then inflation will come down? Of course, correct. Absolutely correct. Dekho, guys, aise socho. You are smart. I have already taught you this, but I won't speak more on this. I'll just speak once, because this I have to teach you in 9 lectures. So I can't give you answer in 1 second, but let me try. You see, suppose the reverse repo rate increases. No, she is asking about repo rate. So suppose repo rate increases. Socho isko, think about it. If repo rate goes up, that means the banks would also, so HDFC Bank, etc., they will also increase their interest rate. Why? Because repo rate is the rate at which HDFC Bank, for example, HDFC Bank borrows money from RBI. So if repo rate is high, that means HDFC is paying a very high interest rate to RBI. So now if we go to HDFC to take home loan, HDFC will increase rate for us also, which means we will be demotivated to take home loans. Because agar abhi aap jaoge na, if you go to HDFC and try to take home loan, the rate of interest is 10.5%. We don't want such home loans. So what happens when repo rate goes up, then the banks also increase the home loan rate, etc., and people get demotivated to take loan. When people get demotivated to take loan, then the cash available in the economy, ye dekhiye, the cash available in the economy goes down. Why? Because bank is giving us fixed deposit rates are 8%. I have cash, I belong to Indian middle class, I'll deposit my money in fixed deposit. So this money which I was having, isme se I'll take cash and deposit it in the bank, which means in my hand, availability of cash comes down. So since there is no cash in my hand, I will not demand goods and services. So inflation will come down that ways. But don't worry, iska pura mechanism I'll teach you when I teach you inflation. So hold on for some time. AS, what did you say? Among the 3, which one is the best? Abhi dekhenge? Among the 4, which one is the best? If you ask me, I can give you an answer. So your online friend is asking, among the 3, which is the best? I'll give you a 4th choice. Always wait for good choices in life. Right, so 4th is always the best. So SM, what are you asking? Liquid flow of money. Haan, sahi hai. Now come back, guys. Let me explain this. Dekho, this is managed or dirty float. I'll be a little slow in explaining. You please let me know once I complete the 4th one if you have any doubts. Dhyan se dekhiye. So what is happening here is Reserve Bank of India told this in 1993. Ye dekhiye, 1993, Reserve Bank said that India will follow from 1993 market-based exchange rate. Everybody was happy, which means if somebody wants to exchange rupee to dollar, RBI said, don't come to me. Go to a bank, go to a money exchanger, go to any place in the world. I will not interfere. And you please give rupee and you please take dollars. I have nothing to do with it. I will not disturb you. This is called as market-based exchange rate, free float exchange rate. So under free float exchange rate, what happened is, suppose $1 is equal to 80 rupees based on demand and supply. Nobody is disturbing, nobody is interfering. But then something happens. What happens? In India, if you give 80 rupees, you get $1. Example, if you give 80 rupees, you get $1 in India. But what happens is, here in USA, suppose rate of interest rises. For some reason, rate of interest rises. Why does rate of interest rise in US? Because USA feels that all its dollars are going away. So USA increase the interest rate. It happens many a times. So when USA increase the interest rate, what happens from India, whatever dollar was there, ye dekhiye, dollar circle is bigger, yahan pe it becomes a little smaller. So from India, the dollars go away to USA. So what has happened? Now dollar circle has reduced in India. Rupees as it is, but now dollar is little less, rupee is little more. When something is less, its value is high. When something is more, its value is low. So what has happened? Dollar has gone away from India to USA. Why? Because rate of interest in USA increased. It is their right. They can increase the interest rate. Just like India has increased the interest rate. They increased, dollar gone. So there is less dollar in India. So if you want $1 in India, you will have to give 90 rupees now. Earlier in 80 rupees you got $1. Now you will have to give 90 rupees to get $1. Which means what has happened? The value of rupee is coming down. See, rupee is losing its value. Losing its value. So earlier 80 rupees $1. Now you have to give so much of rupee. RBI sees it. But RBI does not interfere. RBI says, yeah, it's okay. Earlier we were giving 80 rupees for $1. Now 90 rupees for $1. But then something happens again. USA increases the interest rate even more. So earlier the rate of interest of USA was 4%. Yahan pe the rate of interest was 2%. So 4% dollar went away. Now USA increased the rate of interest to 8%. The moment it became 8%, more dollars went away from India. So again, dollars are going away to USA. From India, it's going to USA. Which means now if you need $1, because dollar is not available in India. Now if you need $1, you will have to give 100 rupees. So earlier, 80 rupees had to be given for $1, then 90, now 100. Now RBI says, this is not good. Which means what has happened? Over a period of time, the value of dollar is going up, up, up. The value of rupee is going down. Which means if we don't stop this, if you don't interfere here, then tomorrow a time will come when $1 will be equal to 1 truck full of rupee. RBI said this will bring very bad impression about India, which means nobody would like to hold rupee. Everybody will boycott rupee and say rupee is useless, dollar is precious. So RBI said we need to stop this right away. But then RBI had made a promise that I will not interfere. This is market based. So that is why RBI said in India that since we are a developing economy and things like this could happen, so India will not follow free float exchange rate, which means fully market exchange rate will not be followed in India, because if we follow fully market based exchange rate, RBI does not have the power to interfere. If RBI interferes, entire world will say, why are you interfering? You promised that you will not interfere. So what did RBI do in 1993? RBI said, instead of free float, India will follow dirty float. Dirty float means up to certain level, RBI will not interfere. But if things go beyond normal condition, if things are moving towards crisis-like situation, and RBI will decide what is crisis-like situation. So RBI said, if according to me, things are moving in a crisis-like situation, then I will interfere and stop this. So see what is RBI saying? RBI is saying this is not crisis. This is also not crisis. This is the beginning of the crisis. Why? Because now you will have to give 100 rupees for $1. RBI says this is crisis. Why? Because here, here and here, there is a progressive reduction in value of rupee. RBI says we need to stop this. What will RBI do? Very simple. RBI, I told you, keeps a lot of dollars in its pocket. So since dollars are moving away from India, on the other hand, RBI will start to pump dollars. And when you pump a lot of dollars, what happens? Dollars everywhere. So the value of dollar, which increased a lot, now the value will come down. Why? Because there is too much of dollars. So again, we will go back from here to here and here to here. So RBI says, I don't want this. This is dangerous. So economy comes back here, and then RBI says, I will take it back to here, and then I will stop. Which means under dirty float exchange rate system, RBI does not interfere every day. Only when RBI feels that some crisis is building in the exchange rate market, RBI will intervene very briefly and try to restore what was considered to be normal. This is dirty float. In dirty float, what is normal? Even this is normal, because RBI did not interfere here. So in a dirty float exchange rate system, RBI never defines a particular target. RBI says that $1 could be equal to 80 rupees, and RBI says $1 could also be equal to 90 rupees, which means in dirty float exchange rate system, RBI does not define something like this, that $1 will be 80 rupees only. No, RBI does not define it. RBI defines a range, that $1 will be either 80 rupees, 81, 82, 83, 84, up to 90. I will not interfere. But if things go beyond 90, I will interfere. Which means according to RBI, this is fine, this is fine. That's not fine. Which means RBI defines this as normal. So you will always find that whenever a country says that according to us, normal means a range, they are talking about dirty float exchange rate system, because dirty float is a range. But only when it crosses this is crisis, right? अच्छा बताइए, in dirty float, will RBI intervene immediately, or RBI will have to wait for things to show abnormal behavior? Wait, which means that in Indian economy, you will see that whenever the value of rupee is coming down, देखो यहाँ पे rupee is losing value. So whenever the value of rupee comes down, RBI does not interfere. RBI waits for good 3 months, 4 months, because this is the promise by RBI that I will not interfere. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, then RBI interferes. Nobody questions us at that time because RBI says, I have waited for 3 months. So you cannot interfere in 1 day or 2 days. So many a time RBI is criticized that why didn't you control it here? Then RBI says, how can I control? Because I myself made a promise in 93 that I will not. And since my promises are taken as the promise by a country, I cannot go back on my promise. My promise is sovereign in nature, which means if I say I will do something, that means I will do something, right? So please write. Under it, a central bank like RBI, normally follows market-based exchange rate system, market-based exchange rate system, but if there is too much fluctuation, between rupee and other currencies, but if there is too much fluctuation between rupee and other currencies, then RBI intervenes, and stabilizes the rupee, Please put a full stop. Change the paragraph, guys, and please write, in dirty float system, the RBI defines a certain range of exchange rate for which there is no interference by the RBI. This range is considered to be normal. Only when the exchange rate goes beyond this range, there is intervention by RBI. Please put a full stop. By the way, normally for every topic I had created 10 MCQs for you, but for this topic I think I have created 20, because I believe that this is one topic which gives guaranteed question in the exam. So ek kaam kara, so what I did is, when I was preparing these notes and lectures for you, I thought, why not create questions from every concept so that everything will be covered in the class and there is nothing left after this. So there is a point where you prepare something, no, you reach a point after which there is nothing new possible. So that point I found when I was framing questions for you, that when I was about 20 questions I had created, I found that there is no 21st new question possible, and then I stopped. So what we will do today is I'll just teach you these two concepts now, and then we will solve all those questions. And I just want to make sure that we do it in the class today so that you have that confidence that yes, you can answer questions also along with learning these things, because ultimate aim is to crack the exam. Knowledge can wait, because if you can crack the exam, you can do a PhD. Certain level of knowledge has to be attained in the class to crack the exam. Beyond certain level, there is always a scope to do specialization in future, but wo certain level has to be done to crack the exam. Wahi hai ye, this is that level. Please write movement in exchange rate, movement in exchange rate market. Please write movement in exchange rate market, movement in exchange rate market. Now, please write a paragraph, please, that movement in exchange rate, movement in exchange rate in general can be of four types. Number one, depreciation. देखिए, it's written on the board. Depreciation. Number two, devaluation. Number three, appreciation. And then number four, revaluation. Yes, Ayush, if it breaches that range which I told you, 80 to 90 rupees wala range, then they will come in action. So please write revaluation. Four things written, no? Now let us study this and I'll give you dictation. Take care, please. And guys, as I told you, that this can be understood only through pictures. Otherwise not possible to understand like that. Please pay attention. It will be very simple for you. देखिए, normally, let's say $1 is equal to 40 rupees. That is exchange rate. $1 is equal to 40 rupees. Now suppose the price of this pen in India is 40 rupees. Keep looking at the board, guys, otherwise there will be confusions later on. So in India, there is one pen whose price is 40 rupees. India wants to sell this pen. In the global market, based on demand and supply, because India is following the dirty float, matlab we follow the demand and supply model. So based on demand and supply of currency, $1 is equal to 40 rupees. This is the normal. So if somebody wants to buy this pen, how many pens can be bought by a US guy for $1? One pen. So if US guy wants to buy this pen, they will send $1 here and they will take away the pen. So in $1, one pen. But suppose something wrong happens in the economy. What happens? In US economy, the rate of interest is increased. When the rate of interest increases in USA, dollars from India will fly. There will be outflow of dollars, which means in India, if this much was the dollar, now there will be this much dollar. Rupee will remain the same. Dollar will come down. When the amount of dollar comes down, that means the value of dollar has gone up and the value of rupee has gone down. Because there is too much of rupee. Dollar has gone out of India because rate of interest is high in USA. So dollar gone, rupee stays. When there is too much of rupee, the value of rupee is down and dollar becomes very precious. Now see what happens. Earlier, we had to give 40 rupees to get $1. But now since there is less amount of dollar in the economy, we have to give 80 rupees to get $1. So earlier, guys, we were giving, let's say, this much rupee to get $1. Now we have to give this much rupee to get $1. Why? Because there is no dollar. So now see what happens. So if this US guy wants to buy pens in India, he will easily send $1 to India. The moment his $1 reaches India, ये देखिए $1 is reaching India. But you know what has happened in India? $1 is equal to 80 rupees. Because the amount of dollar is less, rupee is too much. So $1 is 80 rupees, which means when $1 reaches India, he will get 2 pence. Earlier he was getting $1, 1 pen, because $1 is equal to 40 rupees. But now the value of rupee has gone down. That is why you have to give 80 rupees for one. So 80 rupees $1. Price of pen 40. So if $1 comes from USA, how many pens will be bought? 2 pens. This is called as depreciation. Depreciation of what? Rupee. Why is it called depreciation of rupee? Because earlier we had to give 40 rupees to get $1. Now we have to give 80 rupees to get $1. Depreciation of rupee. Whenever depreciation of rupee happens, our exports increase. We can clearly see that depreciation has happened in rupee. Rupee value gone down. Dollar has become precious. So what has happened? Our export has increased. Why? Because a foreigner feels that the Indian pens are cheaper compared to what they were before. Because in $1 earlier the foreigner was able to buy 1 pen, but now the foreigner will be able to buy through $1 2 pens. So foreigner feels, oh, 1 plus 1. So if you buy 1 pen, you get 1 free. So that sense comes in the global market that Indian goods are cheaper, let's buy them more. So because of depreciation, what happens? Export from India will increase. This is exactly what we want in India, because we are trying to create Make in India, production linked incentive schemes. So what do we want? We want that the value of rupee should be slightly suppressed, which means rupee should not be treated as a great currency for some time, and rupee should depreciate little bit so that we should be able to increase our export. But then I told you, RBI has promised to the entire world that beyond $1 is equal to 80 rupees, if it becomes $1 is equal to 90 rupees, then I told you that RBI might come and interfere. Because RBI has promised everybody that up to certain level I will not interfere. So $1 is equal to 40 rupees, RBI does not interfere. $1 80 rupees, RBI does not interfere. But if $1 becomes 90 rupees, RBI will come and say, sorry, I have to control this. Because I made a promise in 1993, I have to control it. So for some time we tolerate this, and it is good for India because it is helping us to increase our export. अभी दूसरा दिखाता हूं आपको. Let me show the other side of this. There is another side of this. Same story, guys. $1 40 rupees, same story. I'm not changing it. But what happened? Because dollars went away from India, so $1 became 80 rupees. Same story. But this time, let us look at India's import. Iske pehle we saw the export. Now let us look at import. So see what is happening here is, from USA, India is importing 2 mobile phones. Right? 2 mobile phones. The price of one mobile phone is $1. देखिए, $1 for one mobile phone, $1 for another. So when $1 is equal to 40 rupees, India was actually importing 2 mobile phones. So 2 mobile phones. And India used to pay 80 rupees. And we were very happy that, okay, 40 rupees ka one phone, 40 rupees another phone, 2 phones has reached India. But now suppose depreciation has happened, which means $1 is equal to 80 rupees. So now see what happens. In 80 rupees, earlier, if you were in India, in 80 rupees, you could import 2 mobile phones from USA. But now you have 80 rupees in India. But you see what has happened. $1 is equal to 80 rupees. Mobile phone's price is $1, which means you can import only one mobile phone. So when rupee has depreciated, which means the value of rupee has come down. People are not respecting our rupee. Earlier, 40 rupees is equal to $1. Now nobody respects us. 80 rupees is equal to $1. So what has happened? So earlier we were able to import 2 mobile phones, but now you will be able to import only 1 mobile phone. So the effect on import is just opposite. Whenever depreciation happens, when depreciation happens, look at the export. Our exports go up because people feel that our goods are cheaper. But whenever depreciation happens, India's import comes down. ऐसा क्यों होता है? I'll give you a simple logic. So what happens is, whenever we import something, we will pay through our currency. We will go in the market and we will say, please take rupee, give us mobile phone, and you convert rupee into dollar. So when we go in the global market, people will tell us, your rupee is not valuable. We will not accept your rupee. Give us more rupee. And if we have to give more rupee, we will reduce our import. We will say, Rahne do, we don't want it. So whenever there is depreciation of rupee, people stop respecting our rupee and they tell us, give more rupee, then we will give you mobile phone. So then we tell them, no, we will buy only one. That's your effect on export and import. Please write that when a currency depreciates, against another currency, when a currency depreciates against another currency, put a common, right? For example, let us assume that rupee depreciates against dollars. Put a dash and write. Put a dash, guys, and please write. $1 is equal to 40 rupees initially. 40 rupees initially. Which becomes $1 is equal to 80 rupees. Now put a dash and write. In this case, the value of rupee has come down. In this case, the value of rupee has come down with respect to dollars. It has two impacts. Number one, depreciation increases our export. Depreciation increases our export as the foreigners find Indian goods to be cheaper. Please put a full stop. Now, number two, depreciation reduces our import because import becomes costly. Please put a full stop. अब एक काम करो. I have developed a trick which will help you to answer question. उसको करते हैं. Let us draw this. So ऐसे लिखिए. Please write like this. Initially, you should draw it like this. ऐसे dollars and rupee. Draw a circle like this, just like this, normally. And you should write $1 is equal to, for example, let's say 80 rupees. ऐसे कर लीजिए. You should draw it like this. Just draw two circles and write $1 is equal to 80 rupees. And then you should write depreciation. See what we will do. This is the trick. If you don't understand technicalities or literature, the best way to answer questions in the exam and to understand this is through this circle. देखिए ध्यान से. So we are saying that rupee depreciates. When something depreciates, that means its supply is more or supply is less. Supply is more or less. If something depreciates, means its value is down. So excess supply or less supply? Excess supply. That means this circle will be bigger and this circle dollar will be smaller. So now we have to reduce this dollar and we have to increase this rupee. Right? Draw this, please. It will help you. I'm telling you this. This will help you to solve all the questions and we'll see it in the class today. So $1 is equal to 80 rupees. But we are saying rupee has come down. Rupee has depreciated. So there will be more rupee now. See? More rupee and less dollars. This is depreciation. Whenever this happens, two things will happen. I say, look at two arrows. Two things will happen. Our exports will increase and our imports will come down. Imports will come down. Look carefully, how would you remember in the exam that imports will come down? Simple. When we import something, suppose that we have to make payment in rupee. Example, when we import something, we have to make payment in rupee. We will have to give more rupee now. Because there is so much of rupee in the economy that rupee has lost its value. So when you want to buy something, people will say, don't give us this rupee, give us more. Which means things will look very costly for us. We will have to give more rupee. So imports come down. Ab dhyan se dekhiye, I want to ask you a question. Whenever depreciation happens, if exports are increasing from India, it's a good thing. It's a very positive thing. Imports are coming down, very positive thing. But what does India import? India imports essentials like oil. India imports gold. India imports ingredients or raw material for medicines. These are the things that India imports, which means the things that we are importing, like tomatoes from Nepal, pulses from Mexico, these are the things we are importing, which means that when our currency will depreciate, ye dekhiye, depreciation of rupee will happen because rupee is more, depreciation happens, our export is growing great, but depreciation means that our imports become costly and our exports become cheaper. So because of depreciation, our imports are costly. That is why we are reducing our import. Yeah, dekhiye, reducing import. But since we are importing essential items, even if they become costly, we don't reduce it too much. Which means after depreciation, when imports become costly for India, which means India will find it very difficult to buy oil, but we will buy it. India finds it very difficult to buy tomatoes, we'll buy it. India finds it very difficult to buy raw material for medicines, we will buy it. So we continue our import even if it has become costly, which means that because of depreciation, since India won't be able to reduce the import too much because of the nature of import, we continue to import more, which leads to inflation in India. Because we will buy costly oil, we will buy costly medicines, we will buy costly jewelry, inflation will happen in India. In other countries, this part will not happen. In other countries, they will say that if import has become costly, let us not import. Let us reduce import. Ye dekhiye, in other countries, they will reduce import. But in India, we can't. Because we are importing essential items. So even if essential items become costly, like tomatoes, like sugar, like salt, like oil, we continue to import. So whenever depreciation happens, two things happen in India. Our export increases, our import remains almost the same, and we suffer from inflation. So the end result of depreciation in India is inflation plus increase in export, which means one thing is good, one is not good. So society has to decide, government of India has to decide, you guys, when you become policy makers, you have to decide whether you want to continue, whether you want to continue depreciating the currency, because if you depreciate rupee, matlab if RBI prints more rupee, like this, dekho, circle of rupee is increasing, you can distribute. If RBI prints more rupee, rupee will depreciate. When rupee depreciates, export goes up and inflation happens. So if India develops the tolerance that whatever happens, if inflation is high, we will tolerate. If we tell this to the government of India that we are ready to tolerate inflation, government will immediately go for depreciation. But if society tells the government, no, we can't tolerate inflation, because in India everybody is not super rich, which is true. India is not a very rich country. We cannot tolerate inflation. That is why we do not follow this depreciation based increase in export policy. That is why India never promotes this, that, oh, let us do depreciation, export will increase. Because along with increase in export, we will suffer inflation. India is not a rich country. A major section of the Indian society will suffer badly because of inflation. So government has to take care of everybody. Money is not everything. Export increase is not everything for a country like India. We have to take care of the society. So government of India never promotes this kind of behavior. Government says, no, we will not do it. China does it. China depreciates its currency. So export of China increases and China says, I will manage inflation. It's okay. Right? But India says, no, we are a welfare state. It's mentioned in Directive Principle of State Society, DPSP, that government of India has to adopt welfare approach. Government cannot adopt a capitalist approach and say, we will see. No, you have to adopt a welfare approach. You have to reduce inequality and take care of poverty. It's written in DPSP. So we cannot follow this policy. Right? Are you understanding this complication that can happen because of this? Easily, this diagram is important. Please draw this and please write. Generally, likhe is important. Absolutely PB, and I'm so happy you are understanding all of this. Nice. Yes, Shubham, correct. Please write. Generally, the countries depreciate their currency to promote export. But India does not follow this approach as a policy approach. Because depreciation makes the imports costly. Please put a full stop. Since India imports essential items, depreciation might lead to high inflation. Please put a full stop. Now, so guys, this was depreciation. Let us do this part, appreciation. Please give a title. हाँ, बताइए. दो बातें. They somehow tolerate it because for them there is nothing called DPSP. So even if the section of population suffers because of high inflation, poor living standard, they will say we don't care. And we don't have any data because China does not allow the international agencies to go and do a survey. So we will never come to know how many people actually in China are suffering from poverty, how many actually came out of poverty, what is their basic level of income, zero idea. So in India, if the government of India presents a data and says that this is the number of poor in India, international agencies come and verify it. But if China says that I have removed poverty from my country, you have to believe it because it won't allow you to do a survey. That is the process. So we don't use China as a standard to compare anything because frankly speaking, no idea. So please write appreciation. सही कह रहे हो SM, absolutely. Appreciation. I will teach you currency war in some time, but पहले I will teach you appreciation. What is appreciation? See, focus कीजिए please. Look here. Same story, but you just have to keep your focus on the board. You will understand. See. So what happens is $1 is equal to 80 rupees. Assume $1 is equal to, we could have started with any example. We will reach the same result. So suppose $1 is equal to 80 rupees is the exchange rate. And suppose there are 2 pence in India. Price of 1 pen 40, same pen 40. 2 pens are there, 40 rupees each. Now imagine that somebody in USA wants to buy this pen. So what will this person do? This person will send $1 to India and in return this person will get 2 pence. Because $1 is equal to 80 rupees. So if he sends $1, 40 plus 40, 80 rupees, 2 pence will be delivered to this person. This is normal scenario. But now guys, suppose something interesting happens. What has happened? Now suppose that Reserve Bank of India increases interest rate in India. Example. And why did RBI increase the interest rate? Not to manipulate currency. Reserve Bank of India increased interest rate to control inflation in India. Why repo rate, etc. To control the inflation. Kar sakte hai. We have been doing this since last 1 year. So when the rate of interest increases in India, what will happen? Dollar from foreign country will come to India. When more dollar comes to India, what will happen? Excess dollar everywhere. The value of dollar goes down and the value of rupee goes up. मैं दिखाता हूं आपको, and I will make you draw this also. जैसे for example, suppose this is dollar. देखिए how simple it is. This is dollar, this is rupee. Right. So when you give a lot of rupee, ऐसे, when you give this much of rupee, you will get $1. But suppose what happens is the dollar size increases in India. Why? Because from USA the dollar is coming to India. और क्यों आ रहा है? Because in India the rate of interest is higher. So more dollars are coming. So dollar circle has increased. ये देखिए, this circle has become this. But rupee is like that only, no? So rupee circle is like same. See, rupee is same. So now what has happened? Earlier, $1, for example, is equal to 80 rupees. But now there are more dollars. People are not respecting dollar a lot. So now $1 will be equal to rupees 40. Which means the value of dollar has come down, rupee has appreciated. Rupee has become more precious. Because rupee is same, the amount of dollar has increased. When this happens, let me show you what will happen. अब देखो क्या हुआ. $1 is equal to 40 rupees. Rupee has appreciated. Now see what happens. Now this is a US guy. He sends $1 to India. India will say, US, now we will send you only 1 pen. Because $1 is equal to 40 rupees, price of 1 pen is 40. Which means when our currency becomes strong, whenever the currency of India appreciates, means our currency becomes valuable, our export will come down. Because other countries will tell India that India, it looks as if your pen is more costly now. Because earlier in $1 we could buy 2 pens. But now in $1 we can buy only 1 pen, which means your pen looks as if your pen has become costly. So our exports come down. Whatever is the impact on export, the impact on import is opposite. So let's see. ये देखिए, पहले इसको लिखते हैं. Then we'll reach the next item. लिख लीजिए इसको. Please write that when rupee appreciates, please put a dash. The value of rupee in terms of dollar appreciates. Put a dash. The exports from India appear costly. The exports from India appear costly, and hence exports go down. Change the paragraph. The impact on import will be opposite. Import will be opposite. Now please write, in other words, suppose initially $1 is equal to 80 rupees. $1 is equal to 80 rupees. Put a dash and write, because of appreciation of rupee, suppose $1 is equal to 40 rupees. देखिए, $1 is equal to 40 rupees. This has two impacts. So guys, what is the impact of appreciation? Number one, India's export would come down. Because exports become costly. Number two, India would import more. India would import more because import will become cheaper. Because import will become cheaper. Please put a full stop. Can I tell you something very interesting? आपको पता है during COVID what had happened? For a small brief amount, बहुत ध्यान से सुनेगा. This is very interesting. I will teach you these things little later. These are complicated, but just to give you a flavor. What did India do? India played a very smart game. यहाँ पे देखिए. Look here, please. During appreciation, what happens? During appreciation, exports come down, and the impact on import is opposite. Import will go up, which means India will import more. So what did India do during COVID? During COVID, there were 3 or 4 months when India's rupee was appreciating a lot. And when does rupee appreciate? When India gets a lot of dollars. Did I show you this? When India gets a lot of dollars, ye dekhiye, India got a lot of dollars during COVID. Foreign investment was coming. Remember I told you VRR, absolutely, VRR, not triple R, VRR. Right? Voluntary retention route, lot of dollars came, rupee appreciated. Government of India and RBI did not do anything. They said, let it appreciate. So somebody said, why are you letting it appreciate? They said, because if rupee appreciates, India will be able to import cheaper materials. And what did India do? All of a sudden, India imported a lot of ventilator machines, a lot of chemicals which are used to manufacture drugs in India, medicines in India. India imported a lot of oil also. Whenever rupee was appreciating during those 3 months, we imported a lot. Why? Import was cheaper. And then RBI said, 3 months are over, I need to interfere. Right? This is what RBI did. For 3 months, they kept on watching. And when somebody was saying, Arey, control what is happening, appreciation is happening, RBI said, no, we made a promise in 93. We can't interfere. RBI could have easily interfered because RBI never made a promise of number of months. You remember when I gave you dictation, I never dictated that. RBI said, I will wait for 3 months. It never said that. RBI said, whenever things are not okay, I will interfere. Things are not okay, could be 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. But RBI kept on waiting for 3 months. When entire international community was saying, RBI, control. Your rupee is getting stronger day by day. RBI said, how can I control? Because I have to wait. No, I can't interfere. This is dirty float. I will make it dirty only after some time. Right? So this is how we took advantage of it. Abhi nahi likhaunga, I'll explain it to you at the right time. Yahan pe aaiye, please come here. There are so many things to be done. Yahan pe dekhiye, see. So what is this diagram which I created for you? Dhyan se dekhiye, please look at this. It says, abhi this one, the last diagram will be after this, and I'll make that complicated. Isko I'll keep simple. Dekhiye, $1 is equal to 40 rupees. Simple. $1 is equal to 40 rupees. This is the normal scenario. बहुत ध्यान से देखिए. Look carefully. I'm trying to train you in something. Dollar circle, rupee circle, almost balanced. Why are we drawing these two circles as almost balanced? Because we want to show that whenever you want the economy to run smoothly, you have to maintain this balance. So these are the two wheels of the economy over which this box is running. So dollar, rupee, $1, 40 rupees, balance. But sometimes what happens is that dollar goes away from India. So see, dollar circle little small, there is too much of rupee. When this scenario happens, we call it depreciation. When this scenario happens, then $1 will be equal to 80 rupees. Why? Rupee has no value. So $1 is equal to 80 rupees. When do you call it depreciation? You call it depreciation when this system has happened, $1 is equal to 80 rupees has happened without the interference of RBI. Because in this entire story which I told you yahan pe, did I say that RBI came and took the dollars away? No. I said rate of interest in USA increased. That is why dollars went away from India. So when $1 was equal to 40 rupees, now it has become $1 is equal to 80 rupees, not because of RBI, but because of something wrong in the market, demand and supply. Then this is called as depreciation. But sometimes what happens in the Indian economy is when $1 is equal to 40 rupees like this, RBI comes in the market, and what RBI does is RBI reduces the interest rate. When RBI will reduce the interest rate, USA interest rate will look higher than India. Because RBI has reduced our interest rate, this dollar will fly away from India because RBI disturbed the market. So then $1 becomes 80 rupees, and that is not called depreciation, that is called as devaluation. ये देखिए, that is called as devaluation. So when the value of rupee comes down because of market conditions without interference of RBI, that is called depreciation. But when the value of rupee comes down because RBI deliberately did it, that is called devaluation. And I told you that in India, we don't follow this system. RBI does not believe in devaluations. Sometimes we did it thrice in the history, but we don't do it too often because it leads to inflation in India. Now, when because of market conditions, the value of Indian currency increases, it is called appreciation. But when RBI makes interference in the economy and deliberately they increase the value of rupee, that is called revaluation. Okay, let me show you this. So $1 is equal to 40 rupees. See, dollar rupee almost equal. But what has happened now? What has happened is too much of dollar has come from foreign country under VRR, voluntary retention route. Too much of dollar has come. Dekho, dollar circle is bigger, rupee is smaller. What happens in this case? The value of rupee increases. So $1 is equal to 30 rupees because rupee has become more precious. So if this happens automatically without RBI, it is called appreciation. But if RBI does it deliberately, RBI has done this by manipulating the market, then it will be called as revaluation. So these are the two things that we did. And this is what I already taught you, that when there is depreciation, what will happen? Exports will increase, imports will come down because import will be costly. But in India, exports definitely increases, but imports don't come down too much because we are importing oil, metal, gold, medicine. These are essentials, which means whenever you follow depreciation related policy in India, what will happen in India? There will be inflation. This inflation is called as imported inflation. Now, if you follow appreciation policy in India, what is appreciation? So we followed a system called as VRR. बहुत ध्यान से सुनिए. We followed a system called as voluntary retention route. Lot of dollars came in the market. So this is not by RBI. You automatically dollars came because government created a policy called VRR. It was not done by RBI to disturb anything. Government said we will create VRR. So dollars came. So what happened to value of rupee? Rupee appreciated. When rupee appreciates, exports come down, imports increase. So this is appreciation. I think we should do some questions before I take you to this, because this will take time. I don't think we'll be able to do it today. I want to do those questions. Ek kaam kare, let us try to solve questions and see if we have understood the topic or not. Only through that we will understand. Chaliye, let's open some questions. Class is there. Please open page number 2. We will see SM, not today, but we will see it. Very good. So one of your online friend is asking that, sir, out of curiosity, context, how many months before the prelims paper will be made? So see, what I have seen in universities, I can tell you, because UPSC is no different from that. So generally what happens is almost 2 months before the exam, they print the question paper 2 months before, and then 1 month before the exam, after printing the paper, they'll distribute it to the centers. So generally you can say that 2 months before the exam, whatever news etc is coming, you can ignore it. 2 months generally is the time, few days here and there. So let's solve these questions. RK, now only after you solve the questions, I will give you that devaluation, evaluation, dictation. But first you solve the question. Second booklet, handout number 14. No SP, not yet, because Yesterday I was preparing your slides, so maybe today I will go through it. So if you have emailed me in last 1 week, I will respond to you either today or tomorrow morning I'll respond. That last week was little occupied because I had to prepare your question, answer, etc. and these slides. So today I'll respond. Yes, Shubham, we will see to it. We will address that issue as well. Because your offline friends were saying the same thing. Yes, of course. PB 100% yes. So for you, I can do one thing. After I complete a substantial portion of the syllabus with you, after completing balance of payment, etc., maybe we can meet one day for short 1 hour and I can take doubts from all the sections that we have completed so far. ऐसे कर लेते हैं. Not an issue. ऐसे कर लीजिए. Because if I complete a substantial portion, it will be easy for you to understand and link the topics also. So I'll complete balance of payment, then I feel I'll complete inflation. Then only we will have the session. It will be easy to answer then. ऐसे कर लेंगे. आप उनको बोल दीजिए तब तक that he should go. You will come after 10 minutes. ऐसे बोल दीजिए. Most welcome. See, sometimes I don't answer your doubts not because I don't want to, but sometimes I know that when the right time comes, you will absorb it easily. So that is the reason. Are you trying? Huh? Oh, so you can sit next to him, at least see the questions, or you can see the question here. This will be better. But you can open it in your phone. You have the access to portal. Okay. By the way, kids, remember you have to solve question of FDI, FPI also. And those 10 MCQs are pending. So today I won't prolong your discussion, just these questions and over, because I have a class after this also. In 10 minutes, I'll also have to go for another class. But on 16th, when we meet, we will solve the FDI questions as well. Till 14. You can try 15, 16, 17, 18 also. Try it, logic based. Definitely, Arab, your message is being read by our team. आप इनको contact कर लीजिएगा. See what help they want. Text her, please. You will find out. And about the material, guys, I will have to speak to the office. PK, I think 16th then, in that case. 16th. Little bit I told you that day when I was showing you questions, but in a proper way, 16th would be, I think, better. Done? Difficult or easy? Manageable? Manageable. Confident? So if you have written me a mail, you can expect a response by tomorrow early morning. By tomorrow 4-5 a.m. you will get the response. Today I'll respond to all of you. I haven't joined the group. Yeah, I will. So PB will do it together. So we were thinking about a Telegram group for your batch. So I wanted to join the group only after informing the online students. That is why I told your offline friends that I'll join the group together along with you guys. So today there is no time. So 16th we will do it. So you will find me there only when your online friends join you. Right? That will be fair. Completed? Wonderful. We'll all join it together. Don't worry. I'm not a part of the group yet. We'll do it on 16th. Chalo, let's do the questions. First question. Consider the following statements regarding exchange rate. Now, just hold on. I have created a special question for you guys here in this topic. वो किधर गया? Question number 11. Question number 11 is your homework. I want you to think at home about it. I will give you the answer. अब मुझे पता है answer. What is the answer? Because I created it. But I want you to think, because this is the only question, question 11, which I think UPSC can create in future. Because this they have never asked in the exam like this, but it is possible. Now let us do question number 1. Foreign exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another. Yes or no? Yes or no? Of course, yes. So price of dollar and rupee, that is called foreign currency, foreign exchange rate. So I'll give you an example. So for example, if I give 100 rupee, how many dollars will I get? So this is called price of one currency in another. So of course, first statement is correct. So it says foreign exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another. Number 2, it links the currencies of different countries and enables comparison of international cost and prices. Yes. So for example, if we have to buy one burger in USA, the price of one burger would be $1. If we know that $1 is equal to 80 rupees, then we would know that if you want to buy one burger in USA, you have to pay 80 rupees. Which means the second point says it links currencies of different countries. Yes, dollar, rupee, rupee, dollar. And it also enables comparison of international cost and prices. So if you want to compare what is the cost of production of one burger in USA in rupee, how would you know it? You will know it only when you know how to convert dollar into rupee, rupee into dollar. So yes, second statement is also correct. Understood? Cool. Now see, what is it saying? This statement says, part A says both 1 and 2 are correct and 2 is the correct explanation. I gave you a funda. I told you that if you want to find out which explains what, you just need to do one thing. Wahi karte hain. This becomes so easy. What you need to do is you need to add if and then here, and then we need to do the ulta also. We need to add if and then. Now read it. So let's read the left side. If foreign exchange is the price of currency in terms of another, then it links the currency of different countries and enables comparison of international cost and prices. That is one. Now let's do the opposite. If it links the currencies of different countries and enables comparison, then foreign exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another. What explains what? What explains what? No, don't tell me AV. Tell me 1 explains 2 or 2 explains 1. 2 explains 1. Yes, Mukesh, sure. So, which means you are saying, abhi dhyan se suno, you guys are saying that if we know the cost of production, for example, of something in one country and another, if we know the price of burger in India and USA, Then we can find out what is the exchange rate between rupee and dollar. Or the opposite. If we know what is the value of $1 in rupee, then we can easily find out what is the price of burger in US in rupee. Think about it. Many of you have changed your party, right? Welcome to Indian elections, right? You change your party so easily. If you know first, then you know second, or if you know second, then you know first. If you know first, then you know second. How will, yes, exactly. How will you find out what is the price of burger in dollars in US and price of burger in India? How will you compare? You can compare it only when you know that $1 is equal to how many rupees, which means that first has to come first. Only then you will know what is second. Without knowing first, you won't know second. Without somebody telling you, without the market telling you, dhyan se sunna, without RBI telling you that $1 is equal to 100 rupees. Under fixed exchange, China is following fixed exchange rate system. South Korea is also following it. So if they tell that $1 is equal to 100 rupee, suppose we are talking about RBI 1971. So first RBI needs to tell us $1 is equal to how many rupees. Only then we can do this second one. Because we have to consider both exchange rate systems, flexible and fixed, which means unless this one is defined to me, the first one is given to me, I cannot understand what is the second. We cannot have any comparisons. Think about it. Because if you say that no, first is not required, then I will say under fixed exchange rate system, how will you do it then? Because under fixed exchange rate system, unless RBI says $1 is equal to 100 rupees, how will you do international comparisons? And when you define these things, you have to take both fixed and flexible exchange rate system in mind, which means somebody needs to tell us that $1 is equal to how many rupees. So first has to be told to us, only then we will find out second. सोच के देखिए. Think about it. These questions require a thought process. Think about it. Right? You got trapped in that flexible and fixed one. I know it. So guys, the answer is, ab bata dijiye, what is the answer? Both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. Now, of course, yes. So, no problem, PK, correct. So guys, first has to come first, only then comes second. Be careful. Question number 2. Acha, if you don't understand any of the MCQs, you let me know next time. I'll explain it again. Ho sakta hai, you might require explanation. I told you, I'll give you a doubt session, not an issue. Question number 2. The price of any currency in international market is decided by World Bank. Ye kab hua? When did that happen? It didn't happen, right? World Bank's job is to construct roads, not to decide currency. So first is wrong. The price of any currency in the international market is decided by demand for goods and services produced by any country, which means, I told you, if you are a powerful country, your currency will be considered to be very, very big and it will become international benchmark, right? Dollars. So yes, second statement is correct. Indirectly, through second statement, I wanted to tell you that if your country has higher income, higher production capacity, your currency will be valued more. By the way, this is not my question. This is UPSC question. Right? This is UPSC. Question number 2 is UPSC question. So, and why didn't I mention UPSC? Because otherwise you would have become biased. You would have thought, oh, UPSC question, difficult. No, it's not difficult. Third option, stability of the government concerns. If the government is unstable, how will they decide rupee, dollar, dollar, rupee? So government has to be stable. Otherwise, nobody will value our currency. Go to Sri Lanka. Nobody was valuing their currency when their president ran away. Right? So that is the problem. And fourth, economic potential of the country in question. No. Potential does not define who we are. What we actually do defines who we are. That is why free float MCAP is used in stock market index. Market capitalization method is not used in stock market, because what is our capability if we don't use it? So somebody might say Somalia has the maximum capability in the world. So I don't see that capability in real life. So this statement is, the price of any currency in international market is not decided by economic potential. It is decided by demand of goods and services and stability. Number 2 and 3. Right? No, SH, potential does not bring FPI and FDI. I'll tell you the best example. So for example, Let's talk about Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has great potential in my view, but currently there is problem, political instability, so potential is not being used. So potential does not define your success. Your actual performance defines your success. No, IMF also does not decide. It's market forces. So answer is first is wrong, second is correct, third is correct, fourth is wrong. Answer is B, 2 and 3. Question number 3. अब ये तो easy for you. Question number 3. The classic gold standard. But आप सही कह रहे हो. In fact, I have a class also. I also have to go to another class. अच्छा एक काम करें. So kids, since I also have another lecture where it will take me 10 minutes to reach there, I will just take till question number 5. वो easy है. So that we remember we have done 5 questions. In 2 minutes we can do 5. It's easy. देखिए, the classic gold standard exchange rate system prevailed around World War First. Which of the following is true about that? Classic gold, मतलब पहला वाला. When gold was used to make payments. Can I give you the trick? Yeah, all the 4 options which I have given you. Actually, this is the definition of classic gold standard. I deliberately gave it. I deliberately gave all the 4 correct because I wanted you to read it. This is the definition of classic gold standard. So first is countries fix their value of currency in terms of gold, yes. Domestic currency freely convertible to gold, yes. Gold coins circulated as domestic currency, yes. Under gold standard, countries' money supply was linked to gold, yes. All the 4. Sorry? Along with other metal. मतलब हाथ में कुछ भी ले लो, but gold will be the exchange rate. कोई भी metal. Nickel was there, copper was there. Question number 4. Which of the following is true about Bretton Woods system? The Bretton Woods regime dominated till 1991. The Bretton Woods dominated in the world till 1991. Yes, Bretton Woods dominated till 1971. Some countries said in 1971 that the system has collapsed, so we are not going to follow it. So dominance came down. 1 or 2 countries said, no, we love Bretton Woods, but dominance was gone. So Bretton Woods dominated, no, first is wrong, it's 71. Second, the US dollar became at the central, ये क्या लिख दिया मैंने? US dollar became at the central currency, no, became the central currency of the system. Yes, US dollar became the central currency. Third, Bretton Woods system was essentially a fixed exchange rate system. Absolutely correct. Everything was fixed to gold and dollars. So yes, it was fixed. So first is wrong, second is correct, third is correct, and fourth, US dollar was fixed to gold, all other currencies were fixed to dollar. Yes. And last, regarding the fixed exchange rate system, consider the following statements. The fixed exchange rate system is market driven. No, it's not market driven. Fixed matlab fixed, no role of market. It assures the stability of exchange rate. Yes. Under fixed exchange rate, things are fixed. 100 rupees, $1. So it's stable. It's stable. Fourth ka answer is first is wrong, second, third, fourth are correct. C. And question number 5. Fixed exchange rate system assures stability. Yes. Fixed exchange rate system puts heavy burden on the government to maintain the exchange rate. Yes. So question number 5, answer is 2 and 3. So guys, we'll do the rest on 16th when we meet. It will be a slightly longer session like this only. So if you want to write me mails, write, I'll respond. So see you on 16th. Do revise. We will go deeper into the topic. Thanks and take care.